What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode and live stream of Let's Get Nuts here on the Ben Thomas Show. I have a great one planned for you guys today because I have several panelists who have never got nuts with me before. So I don't know how we're going to all work together to get a little crazy and talk about all of the Batman news that we have today, both in the entertainment space as well as, of course, in the 1/6 scale community. We're talking Jazzinc, we're talking hot toys, we're talking Batman comparisons. I'm also going to make the guys choose what sequel they would want to eliminate from a list of what I thought was pretty difficult sequels. So we'll see how that goes. But of course, guys, it's Sunday, September the 22nd. Let's get nuts.
What are you doing? You're completely outnumbered here. Are you nuts? You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts.
Alrighty, let us get some queued up with some music here. So I actually made all the songs for the Ben Thomas Show, just in case you guys don't know. I'm not a musical or lyrical genius by any stretch, so this one I called Saddletown. Let me know if you guys think that's an appropriate name. And of course, speaking of Saddletown, I live out west here in Canada, and you know, I've never looked good in a cowboy hat before in my entire life. But there's one person that definitely does, and he's here in the panel with us today. We got Dave, X-Men Supreme, first time get nuts with us here, buddy. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate looking good.
Looking good. For sure. Well, and there's always, of course, this one time of year. I'm out in Calgary, Alberta. There's always this one time of year here in Canada where it's called the Stampede, the Calgary Stampede. And, you know, most people in Calgary just kind of look like regular folks. And then the week of the Stampede, everybody's in cowboy gear for about a week. I've lived here for 8 years. I still haven't bought myself one. So maybe after today, we can rock it together. But dude, all I ever get a chance to see is your little display picture with your big stogie and the hat. And it reminds me of Logan, which I know is absolutely one of your favorite characters out there. And we're going to talk
An Alberta boy also.
Today. Hell yeah, you got it. Yep. X-Men Supreme is here with us on the show. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. We have somebody else here as well that is also their first time on the show. You might see him flex every once in a while over with Marco. You may see him flex a little bit over with Thank You for Collecting on his own show as well. And of course today, it's a little uncommon to see him, but he's here, Uncommon Flex, Mr. Ty. How are you doing, buddy? Also, thank you for being here, man.
Hey, I am very happy to be here. I feel a little underdressed because I don't have a hat. But I'm ready to get nuts. So let's get nuts. Let's do this.
You absolutely know it, good sir. I am so happy to have you here. We're going to talk a little bit about Classy Thomas here shortly. But I'm happy you're here because I need you to tell me about Classy Thomas and if you've ever experienced chat with him before, as well as you X-Men. If you guys have ever been on a stream with Classy Thomas, let me know when we get to that segment, okay? But for you, Ty, this is my second time streaming with you, I think, in the last month. Last time I got a chance to see you over on Thank You for Collecting when Marco was out of town. That was one of my favorite experiences of the week. If you guys, for whatever reason, living under a rock and you don't know about Thank You for Collecting, go over, subscribe to Uncommon Flex, subscribe to the 1/6 Fix, so you can see that show on Friday nights still, I think, right? It's always on Friday nights?
Fridays at 8 Eastern.
I haven't smoked any weed today yet, so I'm still really sharp with regards to my dates. Love to see it.
Nice.
Ty, thanks for being here, buddy. Now, we got one more panelist here today. We may have a second pop in later, but at least, you know, I always say, like, you know, for better or for worse, this particular mic was also having mic troubles. So we're going to do a live sound test. We got Mike, the Sith Scale Collector, back again. And look, He's got the cowl right behind him. That's got to be for X-Men Supreme. Let's be honest.
Right up there. Yeah.
That's awesome. You're muted.
How am I working?
Can
you hear me now?
Oh. Yep, but you're very hot.
Yeah.
You're coming in real hot.
Let me back it down. How's that?
My dude.
Better?
Let us know in the chat, guys. How hot is Mike coming in comparison to the rest of us?
Lower, I think. A little bit lower.
How about now?
That's not too bad. That sounds pretty good.
Good.
Not too bad.
Yeah, we're live sound testing them.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was ready to go, and then suddenly nothing worked.
Oh no, he's
No
hot.
worries.
He's hot.
Yeah,
He's
you
hot.
are coming in real hot, bud. Now that you're going.
It's
at
pretty
it.
hot,
So,
yeah.
Give me a second.
All right, tap your microphone. I don't think you're coming through your microphone. I think that might be why. So we'll let Mike start with that.
now?
Let's get. Oh, way better.
Is that better?
Yep.
Oh
There
yeah.
it is. Cool.
Yeah, there
Oh, yeah.
it is. There you go.
Like it?
Yeah, way better. Yeah. Let us know in the chat, guys, if we're all sounding about the same level. Definitely would be appreciated. I'm not the Oxfather, unfortunately. And the Oxfather always has the master controls, right? So I got to invest in maybe one of those at some point. We'll see how it goes. But Mike, happy to have you back, buddy, in the show. How is your week going, good sir? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's been good. Thanks for having me. No, I actually, for those of you that see me on other streams, so I have flipped my streaming setup for Sundays so I can keep my eye on the my hopeless Las Vegas Raiders while we do the stream. And yeah, once I saw X-Men Supreme was going to be on there, I did move the Wolverine Cal over to the
Hell
screen
yeah,
for
dude.
him. So yeah, so sorry I didn't get to say hello to you guys before, but it's a pleasure streaming with you guys. Ty, it's nice to see you in person, so to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasant surprise.
Absolutely. And Mike, same thing for you. If you have any stories about Classy Thomas that really stick out in your mind, let's think about that while we go through our first warm-up today. Okay, guys?
Sure.
But let's jump right into the show. We've got almost 30 people watching already. Thank you for being here on a Sunday. We definitely appreciate you guys being here. There's a lot of cool stuff that I want to talk about, but this is just something that I'm going to highlight because it was a wow factor for me. This week, Rosemary Harris turns 97. And that's, it's wild to me because I can there are those actors and actresses out there in the world that when you think of their face, you can actually hear their voice as well. And I can still hear her to this day saying, there's a hero in all of us, and it's just like, I can hear the cadence and the way she says it. 97 is an achievement, let's be honest. So let's get another 3 years out of her. I would love to see an Aunt May that's 100 years old. That would be wild, but that's a big life accomplishment there for sure. But that's not really my warm-up today. My warm-up is this. I was thinking about sequels this week. And of course it's Batman week. And so I watched the Dark Knight yesterday, and it's one of my favorite sequels of all time. But I started thinking, what are some of the best sequels of all time? And I was talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day last week on the show because of that figure that's coming. I was curious, if you guys had to eliminate one of these sequels, what one would it be? This is a very hard list for me, so I'll start. I think, and don't hate me for this, I think that I would literally have to eliminate Spider-Man 2. Even though I think it's one of the best comic book movies of all time, I absolutely love that film. For me, when I was younger, I remember seeing that in theaters. I loved the story beats with Doc Ock. I love the dichotomy of the friendship kind of crumbling around Harry and Peter. I thought that was great. But I can't pull out Empire Strikes Back. I definitely can't take The Dark Knight out. And Terminator Judgment Day for me is a better movie than the first, despite my love for the first one as well. So X-Men, I'll go to you first, buddy. If you had to eliminate one of these, is this an easy choice? Is this a hard choice? Where would you land? And
This is very easy for me. Very easy.
It is easy. Okay.
Yep.
Let us know.
Gotta go with T2.
T2 you would eliminate. Interesting.
Yep.
Why?
I'm just not that into Terminator.
Okay. Fair enough.
I mean, I like it. I like it fine. It's not Spider-Man. It's not Star Wars. It's not Batman.
That's fair. That is fair. And again, let us know in the chat, guys, what one you would eliminate as well. But yeah, I thought that was going to be a harder choice for you, buddy, to be fully honest. So are you picking up the 1/6 scale figure, or was that a for you?
No, I'm very glad that I don't want to get that one, because that's just more money that I don't have to spend.
Yeah. Well, and so many of the other content creators lately have been saying, like, okay, we want X1, or Terminator 1 as well figures. We want Sarah Connor, maybe the T-1000, maybe an endoskeleton, right? So all of a sudden, if you start going over that slippery slope, that's one of if that all comes out.
And so. Batman's hitting harder right now, so yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Ty, same question for you, buddy. If you had to eliminate one of these on the list, maybe this is an easy decision for you like it was for Dave. Maybe it's not. What are your thoughts?
I was worried when I first saw this was going to be a segment, but now that I see the choices, I am very relieved because this is very easy for me. It's Spider-Man 2.
Okay, how come?
Well, I'm not a big fan of the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I'll be totally honest. I never saw Spider-Man 2 until like a couple months ago.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I saw the first one. I got really confused with him and Andrew Garfield. Like, I didn't even know Andrew Garfield was Spider-Man for a while. Like, when those movies came out, my son had to educate me because I was like, wait a minute, wasn't there already a Spider-Man 2? He's like, no, this is a different one. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so then I went back after seeing the last movie with all three of them in there. I said, I'm going to watch every one of them. And yeah, like, it was a good movie and all, but yeah, it's not that big a deal for me. Like, you know, the other three, you'll have to pry the Empire Strikes Back out of my cold dead hand before I ever take that off any list. T2, he's right up there. The Dark Knight, right up there. I don't like that bat suit, but you know, still one of my, like, if Spider-Man 2 wasn't there, I'd probably pull the Dark Knight, but not T2. Definitely not Empire Strikes Back.
Definitely not. Fair enough. Nope, fair enough. Easier for you guys than I expected, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I was sweating when I was putting this slide together. I was like, how do we eliminate any of these? But no, that's fair. Mike, what about you, man? Is this a hard choice? Is this an easy choice? What are your thoughts?
Probably not as hard as my initial thought when I looked at it. But yeah, I would go with Spider-Man as well, man. It's, I mean, kind of like, you know, like Ty said, no one's taking Empire Strikes Back. Not in this community. No one's taking that off the list, right? Batman.
I don't want to get my channel canceled. I can't take that off. You know?
Dark Knight, you know, Bale's not my favorite Batman, but that to me has been the best Batman story told on screen thus far. So I'm not taking that off of there.
That's pretty good. Me too.
And T2 is, I mean, it's just goated to me. I actually watched it yesterday after talking about the figure on the Tuesday show over on CW. So I went back and watched it, and that still holds up from when the first time I saw it for me. So, you know, no knock, no shade thrown to Toby, but yeah, I would probably give it to Spider-Man.
Fair enough. And Blur Dad Life says, Mike, release your hate over Bale. Come on, bro. So, hey, we may have a segment of the show today that he gets the chance to do that, to be honest. So cool. Well, I feel effectively warmed up at the very least, guys. That was way easier than for you guys than I thought it was. But you know, it's the interesting part about entertainment, right? Everybody, you know, is like, everybody sees this type of stuff as their own kind of subjective feeling, right? It's how that made you feel. Does there have nostalgia attached to it? If you were like Ty and only just recently saw Spider-Man, yeah, I can see why maybe that one wouldn't stick with you the same way it did when I was like 15 and thinking, oh my God, I've never seen a superhero movie like this before. Like, even just the improvement in the visuals from the first one was a wild improvement at the time. And it just made me so excited for the future of superhero films. But all of them really, truly stick out in my mind. When I did talk about Empire Strikes Back with somebody the other day, though, there was a lot of people that said they still really liked Return of the Jedi the most. And so I thought maybe there'd be one or two Empire Strikes Back in there even still, but no, not today. Not today. Julio Gomez says, I'm here and look at the cute faces. We love you, buddy. Thanks for being here. So, excellent. I actually added this one for you, buddy. I saw this pop up in my feed yesterday.
Oh, when is
the
this?
Deadpool and Wolverine 4K Ultra HD disc steelbook has been revealed to show us kind of what that's going to look like. It's been a little while since I bought a film on disc, to be honest. Marco always makes fun of me over at 16fix because I commonly refer to these still as DVDs. And he's like, don't they have like 4K in Canada at this point? Like, what the hell? Yes, we have 4K. I'm still going to call this a DVD for the sake of this segment. This is actually one that I think I might put in the collection, though. I had intended to only see this movie once or twice in the theater. I only got a chance to see it once. And so I'm eager to rewatch it and be able to freeze frame a little bit and see what maybe I'm missing in the background. But guys, I was curious. Dave, is this something that you would get for your collection?
10,000%.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm planning like a Deadpool and Wolverine shrine in my room right now. Like I'm deciding on which movie poster to get. You know, I've got the popcorn bucket sitting there. I've got the mask ready to go. The figures are coming. You know, oh man, I got the art book from the concept art already ordered on Amazon whenever that releases next month. I'm ready for every single thing from this movie. Man, there's the little friendship locket. I got that coming.
Yes.
I just want all of it, man. Every bit of it.
Did you get all the popcorn buckets? Did you only get one or two? Like,
No, I got the
see
primary
any.
one. Because when I went, the Wolvesy.
Yeah, with his mouth
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
No, sans the butter. Yes.
Yeah, just butter. Only the butter.
Just butter.
Just butter, no nut on it.
Yeah. There's so many that I wanted to get, and there's so many like the little chunky buddy cups they made. But like, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna spend all of my money on it, but I'm gonna get the thing. That's the thing to get is that one popcorn bucket, if anything.
Yeah,
So I definitely got that.
See, for me, I would say that like the way I purchase things in life are kind of twofold. I can definitely be a very impulsive buyer, but I'm also like a very strategic buyer, and I like to think about my purchases. I got snow tires for my Dodge Challenger a few years ago, and I talked about tires with my ex-fiance at the time like every day for 6 months. It's probably why we ended up breaking up. Let's be honest. Nobody wants to talk about tires that much.
That'll do it.
Right? That it's done. But
Now
I killed the
all
romance.
coming together.
You want to talk about rubber or do you want to talk about tires? But on the other hand, I'm also a very impulsive buyer, and when I went and saw Deadpool, I absolutely had the intention to buy a popcorn bucket. I was like 100%, if it's there, I'm going to get it. And then after the movie ended and I walked out of the theater and they still didn't have any popcorn buckets there, I kind of just decided I no longer needed it. And so I've seen them pop up online. I've seen that you could purchase them, off of websites and all that stuff. I haven't ended up getting it. But if they had more available, I 100% would have ended up impulsively buying that. Absolutely. Mike, in terms of popcorn buckets, is that a popcorn bucket behind you in terms of the cowl, or is that more of like a prop replica?
No, that's something I 3D printed myself.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I got that, and my Deadpool's over here to the left of me. So yeah, big fan of this as well. I kind of like with you. If I had seen the popcorn bucket, I may have been tempted, but the last thing I need is something else to start collecting, because once I get one, then it just opens the floodgates. So I was able to avoid it. My question back to you guys though is, what you got on screen here, which one are you getting, right? Because you got the Wolverine cover and you got the Deadpool cover. What do you get? Both?
Absolutely. I would not get them both. I don't think that would make sense for me. I think I would still personally get the Deadpool cover, despite me really being happy that Hugh Jackman was back. What about you, Dave?
I think I got to go with the Wolverine cover. Now, I haven't really looked too deeply into it. These are just the slip covers, right? And then the steelbook is the big one on the left.
Big one on the no, I think that's it's hard to say, because it looks like the steelbook is actually up on the right hand corner there, where you can see Deadpool there. So I'm not too sure. It's hard to say based on the photo.
Because it looks like
I don't think we know yet, and I'm not sure. I've seen this all over the internet, but I haven't even actually seen if this was the confirmed look yet for it either. So yeah, that's a good point though. If it's a slip cover,
yeah, because it looks to me like, I don't know if this is like, if the big photo on the left side there is just like the book underneath one of the two, or if it's just like three separate things or what have you. Because then you've got like the one at the very top, in the very, very tiny image there, that's got a whole different. Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know, but either way, I'm getting the Wolverine cover. So either whatever happens, if there's a Wolverine cover, I'm getting it.
Hell yeah. Ty, have you slipped down the popcorn bucket route after Deadpool, Wolverine, or any of the other films that have come lately? And is this something that you would put in your collection, or do you prefer to stream films?
Thankfully, no, I have not gone down that rabbit hole. I have enough expensive hobbies to deal with as it is. So I didn't know about this popcorn thing until recently, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to pretend that it doesn't exist. But normally I would just
Probably a good way to
get
go.
the digital versions of this stuff. But seeing this, I would get the Wolverine. I do have a confession to make. I have yet to see this movie
Hate to
because
see it.
we didn't go to the theaters because I was like, okay, there's some releases coming up. I want to put some pre-orders down. I know I'm going to buy this when it comes out. I don't want to spend $40 at the movies when I can just buy the movie when it comes out. So I was just going to wait. I avoided spoilers. I don't know what the hell happened. I just know it was good. So I'm just dying to get my hands on it. So the sooner the better. But
Ty, let me ask you, based on what you said about Spider-Man earlier and your confession about Batman Returns Friday night on your show, is it safe to assume it'll be 20, 30 years before you actually see this?
no, man, no.
I'll talk to you about this in 2056. Let's get nuts. Episode 382.
Yeah, right. As soon as this comes out, I'm all over this. I'm not waiting because I was so tempted. To go to the movies and see it. My son, he wanted to go see it, but I was like, no, I'm just going to pre-order the figures, and then I'll wait because they come out to the home so quickly now. I was like, I'll just do it that way. But I gotta say, this one's been hard. This one's been real hard, and yeah. That's my shame with Batman Returns. That's my shame. And the Spider-Man just confused me. But Batman Returns, first time I tried to watch it back in the day, fell asleep. I don't know why. And just kind of fell off the face of the earth for me. I finally watched. I was like, you know what? This is good. It's good. That's
But
good.
I heard you say that on your show, but I almost fell off the face of the earth.
Did you? I know that was bad, especially for Keaton is my Batman. That's my guy. So I'm not proud of it. It's just I don't know what to say.
We all have gaps.
We all have those skeletons. I got a lot of them in there though.
I hate to admit, like I don't usually go and see a movie more than once in the theater because usually I see it once and I'm pretty good,
Yep.
Like I'll wait until it's later on and there's not a lot of people and I can just sit there and take it all in and not to deal with the crowd and all that. I went to see this movie 5 times.
Nice.
Wow.
And
That's wild.
I almost went to 6, but I was like, no, you got it. You got it already.
Did you
it's
feel like
coming.
you picked up something new every time?
Not necessarily that I picked up something new. It just was better every time.
This was better every time.
Like every time I saw it
again for that.
Yeah. The anticipation of what I already knew was coming.
Yeah.
It was just, it's such a damn good movie, man.
I saw The Dark Knight in theaters 14 times because I went with groups of friends. Yeah, I have all 14 ticket stubs still in like a small, in a frame. It's my favorite movie of probably all time, though. And again, lots of nostalgia, lots of good thoughts of thinking back to the boys, hanging out. But this, is an interesting movie, Ty. Like while I loved this film, and I think seeing it on the big screen was fun, and I liked being in the crowd of people that were all super excited to see these guys on screen together and everything. I still think it's absolutely an easy watch on a television screen, especially if you got a nice setup at home. Like, I don't feel like you had to see this on the big screen to necessarily still appreciate the film. And like you said, they come out so quickly. There was a time, and you highlighted it, Ty, that like, you guys remember it, like when a movie would come out and you freaking loved the movie, and then he's like, well, I guess I'll see that next year now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe it helped us be patient for Hot Toys collecting. I don't know, but it was like, but that's why I collected movies back in the day, because by the time I'd finally get to see it again, it was like I forgot half the movie, like, and now it's what is it, like 45 days I think a lot of the time, and it's in our hands, or at least on the streamers at the least. So
ever since COVID, that's when they started pushing them out faster, where you could actually rent it while it was still in theaters, and still rent it and see it at home because people weren't going.
Yeah, that was crazy stuff right there, man.
True. Guys, we have one more quick warm up before we introduce everybody on the in the chat there. I want to say hi to everybody. We have almost 50 people watching us live already in the first 25 minutes. Thank you so much for being here, getting nuts with us on a Sunday. I always forget to ask earlier in the show, if you guys don't mind, please hit the like button. It just helps support the show, helps get it out to other people who might not know it exists yet. And we want everybody getting nuts with us if we can every Sunday. So if you don't mind, hit the presumptive like button. It would definitely be appreciated. I was curious, guys. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and this week 2 weeks ago, I purchased this, which is a prop replica Star Trek communicator device, basically. It chirps and everything.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And like, I know I don't want to lose too many people because I know not everybody's a Star Trek person, but I obviously have a whole segment of the Ben Thomas Show that's dedicated to Star Trek and Star Trek news and Exo 6 and all of those things. So I bought this so that I could wear it and, tap the badge. But this is technically my new this week. But since I've got some new panelists on with me, I don't get to connect with you guys as often as some of the other boys that I hang out with. Have you guys got anything kind of fun or random this last week that you were excited to get about, get that into your collection? Ooh, Ty, what are you showing me here, buddy? One sec. Ooh, decent. Original
Hey,
series.
look at that.
I've had this for a long time.
Within reach, too. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's right on my desk, right on my desktop. It chirps and
That's
everything.
awesome.
Magnetic
That's
holder.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let us know in the chat, guys. What did you get new this week? If anything came to your collection room, I want to see your comments flowing in while I ask these boys. Ty, is there anything that you got new this week that you were excited about in the collection room, or anything maybe you've pre-ordered, something you're excited about now?
I'm excited that finally my Hono Wolverine is shipping from Sideshow.
Yes.
Also,
one,
I got the which one? The yellow.
Yeah.
The invoice. I got the invoice for the '89 Batman from Comic Concepts. So that converted. So that should be on its way very soon. The only thing I got in hand this week was it was a figure from ZD Toys. It's a War Machine, and it was like $40 on Amazon. Like they make decent figures. I found out they are legit. At first I thought they were like a knockoff. It's just they're not licensed to sell in North America, but of course you got third-party sellers on Amazon, so they sell them there, and you get them, and they're very well done. I mean, they're not die cast or anything like that, but they're usually like $30-40, and they're pretty good. They're 1/10 scale, and yeah. So I decided to try it out, and I was like, hey, he's good. I even took a couple pictures and posted it.
I think I remember seeing some Jazzinc collection videos on those, actually.
He's got a few of the Iron Man figures that they did, and they look pretty good.
Yeah, I got an Iron Man. I got the War Machine, and for the price, you really can't beat it. I got a couple things coming too. I was hoping to have them before this show, but there's ZD Toys. They make a Deadpool and a Wolverine, and they were like $22 on
really
AliExpress, and they're like legit figures. So, once I get them, I'll post some pictures on IG.
Hell yeah, dude! Hell yeah, Dave X-Men. What's come to your collection this week that you're all excited about, or anything that you've got on order that you're excited about?
Nothing came in this week. I did get my '89 Batman last week. That was really cool.
What are your thoughts on it? Did you?
I like him overall. The suit texture ain't it, but other than that, and standing on the shelf, it's really not that noticeable.
No way.
So that's
totally
really
agree.
good. Yeah, he actually looks really good just standing there. And once I finish my build up here for my Costa case and the Batmobile gets here, I can put him over there and actually use the gargoyle because he's in the detox right now. And that gargoyle is he's living a little too large for that detox. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, he's a great figure. Great figure. My Hono Wolverine is also on the way. Should be here on Wednesday. Finally, I got the notification that I should be expecting to get a shipping email about my She-Hulk as well. So,
interesting. I'm excited to see
yeah.
her start rolling into people's collections, to be honest. Because, like, while I didn't love the show, I still think the figure looks really cool.
That figure looks amazing from everything
It
I've
does,
seen.
man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Well, and I'm glad you weren't too critical or feeling too critical of the suit texture for the Batman once you saw it on the display, because that's really truly how I felt when I pulled it out of the box and I had it under my light box while I'm taking pictures for the review and stuff. It really stood out, and then as soon as I plopped it into the collection and I could kind of stand back 1 or 2 feet, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty freaking
Oh yeah.
That looks pretty good.
Oh, there is one other thing.
Yeah.
I should mention. I don't know if so. I came into collecting kind of after light boxes were really a thing.
Mhm.
Like when I came in, it was right after the Batman hit theaters, and that was like, as far as I know, that was the last Hot Toys light box that was put up, right?
I think
I wanna say it
so.
was.
Oh, that's a good question. It's been a while since I've seen one. Yeah, the Batman.
And
I think that might be right.
Yeah, and I'm pretty heavily like Marvel skewed, and I've always wanted the Marvel light box. And I keep seeing them, 120, 150 bucks here and there. Some other questionable websites, some on eBay. Bro, y'all, I paid $19
What?
for a Marvel light box. It's the exact same damn thing from Hobby Lobby, y'all.
Nice.
Hobby Lobby. There you go.
Nice.
folks.
Hobby Lobby, bro. It's,
That's awesome.
it's
Is
the
it-
same shit. I looked up all the images of it, where the thing plugs in, where the button is to turn it on. It's the same damn thing, bro.
Wow.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Is it a
So-
USB-C, or how does it run?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly the
nice.
same. Everything that the Hot Toys one is, this is it.
Wild.
So if anyone's looking, $19.79. The year I was born, I was like, this is meant to be. This is meant to be, y'all.
That's
Sold.
insane.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
Thanks
So
for
if
the heads
anyone's
up.
looking,
Now,
Hobby Lobby.
Hey, we get about 1,000 views on the Let's Get Nuts show every week, so there goes 1,000 Hobby Lobby light boxes over the next
Not a
week.
sponsor.
Get your light box while you can. They're not paying us to say it, I swear. That's hilarious, buddy. No, thanks for the heads up on that. That's awesome. Mike, anything come to your collection space this week? It looks like you've been cleared out, to be honest, in
Yeah, I
comparison
know,
to
right?
your normals display. So
I'm gonna get the reputation of a non-collector now.
that's right.
No,
He doesn't
nothing-
even have any hot toys behind
Yeah,
him.
no,
You need to
right?
see it.
Nothing special. You guys are all talking about your Honos, so I had to go and check my email because I haven't seen any notification. I got both of them coming,
Oh, I hate
but
to see
it's
Oh, nice.
crickets over here, so that kind of sucks. But
All right, he's going, and oh no! Oh, it's an upset with the nuts. Truly devastating. It's devastating.
that's
buddy.
exactly it.
Sorry to hear.
That's-
Yeah.
Everybody's saying,
That's how he
I'm
felt when he checked his
it'll
email.
be here tomorrow, and I'm like, cool.
I gotta turn the sound down on that clip. I don't know why it's so.
No, it gets your attention.
I'm so sorry, guys. I just blasted the TVs off everybody.
That's awesome.
That's sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
No, it's all good. I was just saying, I picked up a couple just little things like some Hasbro Transformers that were really cool. It's from the 86 line, the movie line. And I thought, you know what, let me collect this line. They're cheap, relatively accessible. I can get them at Target. And I started looking, and I went back and seen some of the ones that had already come out. And it's like the universe just didn't want it to happen. They got some of them that are sold out, and they're like 200 some bucks on eBay for, a $40 Transformers toy. So looks like that's not going to happen.
Fair. You hate
Maybe.
to see it, buddy.
Unless I can find a deal.
Maybe. I like his optimism. I like his optimism. Guys, let's say hello to the chat. We have 40 to 50 people watching live with us here. Thank you again for being here. Let's cue it up. Let's say hello to everybody and welcome all of the tough nuts in the chat.
Is that everyone? I can want it more.
Nuts!
Assemble.
Nuts assemble. Guys, I have one very special thing that I want to address before I say hi to all of you all out there in YouTube land and Let's Get Nuts Studio here. Normally, this stream is significantly more classy. Significantly more. Today, while X-Men Supreme looks really good in that hat, let's be honest, it's just, we're lacking some classy Thomas here with us. I was in the gym about an hour ago and I got a phone call from Classy Thomas, and I asked him if I could share this just so everybody knows. He says, "Hello, everybody. I send greetings from the ICU. I've been here for about a week, bad case of COVID and pneumonia. I'm working hard to get better, but I want to say hello to my brothers." He called me, and I was sitting on the leg abductor machine, which I honestly always thought was a girl's exercise machine. So I apologize if I had to breathe heavily into the phone on you there, Classy, while I was doing it. It wasn't classy, but he was so out of breath. He sounds like he just ran about a 500K marathon. Pneumonia and COVID all at the exact same time. I talked to him a week ago. He had a bad cough. He is off the ventilator now, he told me, which is awesome. I was surprised that you didn't sound more like Darth Vader, Classy. I was hoping for cooler sounding breathing, but I'm happy to hear your voice, good sir. It is scary. He wanted to apologize to me for not being able to be on Let's Get Nuts, which just hit me in the heart and in the feels. It teared me up because he said, I don't want to let you down. I'm a regular guest on the show. And that means so much to me. You don't even understand out there, Classy. I hope you can hear this from your hotel or your hospital bed right now. I wish it was a hotel bed. I wish it was your massage chair at home. All I can say to you is you will never disappoint us by not having a chance to be on the show. I've got so many good memories with you so far, good sir, and we've got lots more to look forward to. We're only episode 53. You can't get nuts if you can't breathe. So do yourself a favor. Don't feel bad about not being here. The minute you can be back, I want to hear from you, good sir, and we want you back here. One of my favorite memories with Classy Thomas so far is honestly how his name originated. He's SpongeBob SquareBalls in the chat to everybody, but I kept saying how classy he was based on all of his takes all the time because, he would eloquently put things in, classy ways. And I called him Classy Thomas one day, and it is stuck. And now it tugs at my heartstrings whenever I'm watching other people's live streams, and they now refer to him as Classy Thomas. I love the fact that it just stuck for him. So it's one of my favorite memories. Mike, do you have anything that stands out for you for Classy Thomas while he's sitting there feeling or trying to feel better?
Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, for starters, I've been thinking about him a lot last couple weeks myself. I mentioned in passing to my wife, who doesn't have any clue who he or any of you guys are. Just kind of saying, man, I haven't heard anything about Thomas. Hope he's doing all right. But I never, I don't know him very well, so I didn't feel like it was my place to reach out. So I'm glad that you and some of the other guys were able to get in touch with them. Yeah, man, it's weird. So like him and I joked once I started doing streaming that him and I were kind of linked together because my first show was the Wolverine and Deadpool movie night thing on CW that he normally does. He couldn't make it that night, so we kind of stepped in for him. And then the following week, I think we were on your show, Ben, and then After Dark. And so it was like my first 5 or 6 shows. No matter where I went, he was on there with me. So
he was there.
It was a blast.
Nice.
Yeah, listen, I won't get into specifics because it's just way too hard to explain. But if you go on CW and check out After Dark, maybe 5-6 weeks ago, there's a couple back-to-back episodes, which may have been one of the last ones he was on, that is just hilarious. And
he was just wild.
It's his show. Wild. I mean, it's insane. I still laugh about it today when I think about it. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you guys talked to him. It's still concerning, obviously. Of course, it made me so happy to see him in the chat here. To maybe he's not listening right now, but at least be able to get on and say hello to everybody. I hope he feels our love out there for him. I hope he never knows everybody's thinking about him, and can't wait to get his ass back here.
Hell yeah, buddy. Well said, Mr. Mike. I agree with all of that. 6Scale Mafia just put in his membership chat for the month. 9 months a member, buddy. Thank you so much for supporting us here. I think all of us have heard of 6Scale Mafia's YouTube channel at this point. He was the GOAT for me before I even started on YouTube, and he's become a good buddy also because of our love for Star Trek. So live long and prosper, good sir. He says, happy Sunday, dudes. It's good to see you, buddy. And I'm excited for more of those Exo 6 announcements, by the way. So if you have any inside tips, you can let me know. Anything, I'll take them. I'll take anything. I hope you're feeling good too, buddy. He said he's laying down feeling sick. Now, X-Men, you watch a lot of streams. You're almost always in the chats when I jump in. I feel like we need to stop seeing each other that way, but I'm shocked. I would be shocked if you didn't have a favorite quick Classy Thomas moment as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are a lot of orphans going uneaten tonight. And,
yes, great.
Yes. But I plan to see him back at it.
If you know, you know. That made me think of my ex used to like the 2.5 Men show. And there's an episode. There's an episode where Charlie Sheen's character is trying to get receive an award, but he always loses to the same guy. And he makes his own jingles, right? And he always loses to this other guy. And I can't remember the actor, but he's a pretty iconic actor. You guys maybe in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. But the song is "Save the Orphans," and it's such an earbug. It's like "Save the Orphans," and now every time I think of orphans, I think of that song, which blows me away. But same, I love that moment with Classy for sure. Ty, have you been on any shows with Classy, or have you just seen him in chats? Have you had any experiences with him before we say hi to everybody else?
I have not been on any streams with him. It's just I know from the minute I started watching streams, years ago, I would just always see SpongeBob Square Balls. As Leal would always say it, and so that always stuck out in my mind. So when you said Classy Thomas, I'm like, wait, that's him, and and so he even showed up on some of our streams on Thank You for Collecting. So please get back soon. I hope you feel better as soon as possible. You are. He is a legend to me, because he's in all those streams. Like every time you see it,
staple.
Like as soon as I see him show up in the chat, it's like SpongeBob. I got to stop everything and say hi. So I did not know. Said. I didn't know he was under going through this, but we're not that close. But best wishes.
You know what? Sometimes this community can be pretty divisive. Sometimes we can, argue about figures, whether we think likenesses are good or what company we should buy from or all of those things. But I think sometimes we forget all of the wonderful friends we've made over the years of doing this. All of you guys were strangers on the internet for me at one point. And now I get a chance to talk and get nuts with you guys here. All the people in the chat, channel members, subscribers, doesn't matter what you are. It's that you guys come to have fun, and we have fun every week here. There's never any drama in our chat. There's never any trolls in the chat because it's a good community when we want it to be, and Classy is part of that. If you guys are watching live or watching on replay after the fact, do me a favor, please, and send some well wishes. You can do it in the comments. I can screenshot those for you or reach out to him directly if you guys are friends. But otherwise, let's move on. Classy, if you're listening, we love you, buddy. Feel better. If you're going to breathe hard, breathe like Darth Vader, because that's the cool way to do it, good sir. We got Valkyrie Magnus here in the chat with us. Good afternoon, Ben Thomas and fellow collectors. Let's have fun. Let's get nuts. Good to see you, buddy. Newer collector, so you'll see him, I think, in a lot of different chats, but awesome dude. Pop Culture Relics, one of our great channel members. Luis, hope you're doing well, buddy. What's up, everyone? We got Thalia Meyer in the chat with us. We got Christian Cooper. Oh, that's a different one. Christian Crosshair Cooper. Love to see the name change there, buddy. That is awesome. We got Mark P in the chat with us. What's up, collectors? Hope you're all having a great day. We got Action Figure Academy. Let's get it on. 12-inch Moose Dream. Hello, 12-inch Moose Dream, not Dream. I apologize, buddy. Hello, collector, community of collectors. This has been the craziest week of collecting Hot Toys. 19 figures. He sent me a photo today of a bunch of original trilogy Star Wars figures, and I'm like, did you get all that in one haul? He's like, yep. I'm like, I am jealous. I'm
Moose
sweating.
is the collector I want to be when I grow up.
Man,
Yeah.
Whatever you've done for work in your life, can you tell me as well? Because like I need that job. I'm floating underwater here, buddy. I hate to see it, but that's awesome. Congratulations on your haul, buddy. We got Rogue One Photography, one of our channel members. Hello, you beautiful people. Good to see you, my friend. We got Uncommon Flex here in the chat as well as on the panel. He says, "Yo, 12-inch. What did you order?" It sounds dirty when you put it that way. Let's see here. We got Excellent Supreme with us in the chat and in the panel, as well as our channel member as well. We got Leon Stanley. Hey, can I have Deadpool, please? I'll pay $10,000. Well, I hope that's dollars anyways. I'm not sure in the world where you are, but there's been some confusion. So I just gotta stop saying hi to everybody for a half second, okay? There's this short stream, or this short soundbite going around right now that's getting a lot of us streamers subscribers, and it's like, this is your figure if you this is your figure if you that, this is your figure, this is your figure. I will tell you, I'm so sick of hearing this short sound, I can't even bear to post it. But the YouTube algorithm is a painful place. If YouTube does not think your sound will trend, it won't even highlight it. It doesn't matter how good the content is. So unfortunately, when there's a soundbite that's working, we all got to use it. We got to, because we all put hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of time into things like live streams and videos. My 15-minute video on Batman that I put up the other day took me 3.5 hours to edit and record. YouTube is not a very thankful place. So if there's a trending soundbite that gets, some attention on the channel, it's important. But a lot of people lately have been thinking that that's a giveaway post. You'll get this figure if you like. You'll get this figure if you subscribe. That is not the case.
Wait, it's not?
No, it's not. I had 1,000 people like the Deadpool the other day. 1,000. At a $340 figure, that would be a $340,000 investment. I can honestly tell you, this channel makes about $200 a month. That is it. It helps me pay for StreamYard. It helps me pay for some of the figure giveaways once a quarter that I'm looking at doing. But that's about it, guys. I could never give away that many Deadpools. And so if you're seeing that out there, if you're one of those folks that are feeling confused by that soundbite, I apologize. We're not trying to scam you. It's free to do all of those actions on a channel. If that's the only reason you're supporting the show, please don't support it. Otherwise, we love you. We want you to be here. We do figure giveaways on this channel for both subscribers and channel members. I've got another 2 figures that are lined up now, coming soon, and I'm going to be reaching out to Collector Zone to see if he wants to get in on a third. So stick around if you want to, but I just wanted to clarify that for everybody. And just so you guys know, I freaking hate that soundbite just as much as you do. Thanks so much for just scrolling past it for now until something else eventually starts to trend. I appreciate you guys. Sorry for my on-stage presence, but
for my Ben Thomas shipping.
You should probably. The other thing is, it's like the one guy messaged me and was like, "Hey, where's my figure? I haven't got it yet." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh my God.
I'm like, I don't know where you even live in the world. I don't have your address. Even if I had 1,000 Deadpools, I literally couldn't get it to you. Like, I don't know where you are. So, all that being said, I'm sorry that there's been confusion, but I see that there's a lot of us YouTubers using the soundbite right now. It is probably starting to get a little annoying for the community. But the YouTube algorithm is a bitch. Sorry for my language. It is. And if it doesn't want to trend you, it won't. And so you either use the trends or you get left behind. It's the reason all those people do those dances on TikTok. Nobody wants to dance on TikTok. It's the way she goes. So hope for it to die soon so we can do something else on shorts. Otherwise, enjoy the long form content if you get the opportunity. All that being said, sorry for the break there, guys. We got Danny Lee in the chat with us as well. Good to see you, my friend. Of course, SpongeBob SquareBalls is in the chat with us. I could get rid of Terminator. I'm surprised by that.
Forget
Classy,
everything
actually.
I said about
Wow.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what?
Take it all back.
We're through.
Hate to see
We're
it.
through now.
I hate to see it. We got Julio Gomez in the chat with us as well. We've got, let's see here, Big Rib, as Dean would say, one of our channel members. What's up, Ben? What's up, fellas? Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. I want to make sure we don't miss anybody. Fad Gadget says this watched it twice on IMAX screen, once in a normal screening, and then again in 3D. I think referring to Deadpool, which is a flex in itself. That's very awesome. We got Mr. Calvin, low-key collector, with us here as well. What's up, fellas? good to see you, buddy. Hope you're having an awesome weekend so far. We gotta get Calvin back on the stream here soon. It's been definitely a little while since we've seen him here. We got Gio, the movie canon, just hit 12,000 subscribers on his own channel recently. I actually think he's got a show. I think he's got a show today. X-Men. I think you're on that one, right? As well as maybe Mike. I can't remember, but a couple of folks are on there as well. Oh, I saw Jose is going to be on that show, and Jose, if you're listening on replay. You haven't been coming on Let's Get Nuts lately, but now you're going on Gio's channel. Like, I see how it is, bud. I see how it is. Wow. We got Blurred Death Life here. Picked up TVA Loki last Sunday. Keaton Batman arrives on Tuesday. Tylo ZD Toys, Iron Man. Our figures are on point. Hell yeah. I hope you like that Loki too, buddy. That's a great figure. We got Thuron's Office in the chat with us as well. Nothing but trouble. Man, some of your puns are so good, dude. I gotta hire you to write me a few. That's good. Not gonna lie. We got Philip the Fool here. He says Mania Wolverine gets here on Tuesday. I got a chance to meet Philip in person at the Collecting Weekly OxCon last year. Yeah. Very cool dude. Very, very cool dude. So I'm happy you're here with us, buddy, today. 100%. We got Press X to continue. That's a new name in the chat that I don't recognize. Thank you so much for being here, good sir. Getting nuts with us on Sunday. Your presence is absolutely appreciated. We got JB in the chat with us here as well. Let's see. We got BMW Lover. Classy Thomas, we love you, buddy. We hope you get back to 100. I hope he gets back to 110, because that's when he starts to get really crazy on Sundays, let's be honest, especially after his massage chair action. Let's see where else. So we got King Ding-a-ling here with a nutbuster. You love to see it. We got Jordan Skinner in the chat with us. Individuality goes out the window because of algorithm. Yeah, you hate to see it. Honestly, it really, really does. But I had about 400 shorts on my channel, or it felt like that anyways. Probably it was more like 150 that were doing pretty well, but then that soundbite is driving everybody a little wonky. Figurecraft here says, happy Sunday, y'all. Let's get nutty. Hopefully we get you back here soon, Philly, as well. I think that is everybody. If I missed anybody, please let me know in the chat, but I do want to keep the show moving because we're already at 51 minutes here. Guys, real quick, in light of Batman Day and weekend and the 85th anniversary this past weekend here, I was just curious, who's your favorite Batman? Now, I recognize there's a few other Batman that exist in the animated world, and there's even a few live-action Batmans before Adam West. But to me, Adam West is kind of what really started Batman, and I think in most people's live-action mind, so that's where I started here. For me, I'm a huge Keaton fan. I grew up with Keaton. I think he'll always be my number one because he's what truly showed me how dark like Batman could be and what that world could look like. And while I love The Dark Knight, and that's actually, my favorite comic book movie of all time, for me, Keaton really started it. But I would give an honorable mention to Kevin Conroy. Yeah, we lost him about a year ago now. For me, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. If you close your eyes and you think about his voice, Batman 100%. And I grew up with Batman the Animated Series, so that in combination with the Keaton Batman, they shared the same theme song. It felt just like a rip from each other, and they were awesome. And to this day, in my opinion, the first and second season of Batman the Animated Series holds up entirely very, very well. So I will give it to Keaton being the first, but I think Kevin Conroy gets that honorable mention second place in my heart. And Christian Bale would be third. X-Men Supreme, what do you think, buddy? Who is your number one and maybe honorable in here with regards to Batman?
This is one of those questions where when somebody grew up based on who their favorite Batman is, right?
Very true.
Like I started with Adam West. It was like the only reason Mom would let me stay up past bedtime was to watch that show on syndication. I don't even remember what channel it was, but Michael Keaton came along, and it was a special time to be a 9-year-old kid in 1989, and Batmania is taking over everything. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was just a magical time in my life. I had all the toys, all the Kenner toys. Friggin' grandma bought me the cassette, the VHS for Christmas. And we didn't have a VCR, so Dad bought me a VCR for it. Man, it was just, and I know that if I were my age now back then, I'd be like, because this guy playing Batman. I know I would be like that.
Yeah,
sure. but man, I just love him so much. But there's so many good options too. Like Keaton is my always going to be my pick for live action, and Kevin Conroy is always going to be the definitive Batman out of sight of everybody, you know.
Hell yeah.
But like, Pattinson did such a good job, I think, and
Great honorable mention, 100%.
and Bale did so well, even with that goofy ass voice. It doesn't take away from how well he did for so many people, me included. So it's always, I'm glad that I'm so, into Keaton, because it would be a very difficult choice. But Keaton is my number one. It's hard to pick anyone after him other than Kevin Conroy. Rest his damn soul, But man,
love that guy.
Yeah,
even the games, even the games, with his voice, the Arkham games, so good. So
I can't read a
good.
Batman comic or anything and not hear it in his voice. You just can't do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Even his his Bruce Wayne voice, even like again in the animated series, just his Bruce Wayne was perfect in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So, what one would you eliminate here if you had to eliminate one?
Whew. Well, that's an easier choice.
This is easy. Come on.
Just curious.
I hate
Gotta be
it because
objective.
I hate it because he could have been so good. Like it wasn't his fault that it was written the way it was, that it was directed the way that it was. I want to see Clooney come back and do it justice because I know he could. But that version of Batman at that time, I get what they were doing, and I get that certain people like it, but they're wrong. And and I got to get rid of even Val Kilmer for what they gave him.
Yep.
Didn't hate it.
No, it's a pretty good movie for its time. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
But like,
Hell yeah.
but I got a lot of love for George Clooney, but not as Batman.
I thought George actually made a better Bruce Wayne than even the Val Kilmer Bruce Wayne. Like I
give him that.
I liked his affection for Alfred in that film. I think that was still one of the stronger parts of Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You really felt that like almost like fatherly like connection with Alfred because his
that's the thing. Clooney is so good. Clooney is so good. But
also not a great Batman movie, unfortunately.
No, it wasn't. They just didn't give it to him, man.
I would still collect the figures, though. I will say, and they had teased the George Clooney and Robin at that event there a couple weeks ago. I think I would get it if they get the likeness good. What about you, Mike? What's your favorite Batman here? Maybe an honorable mention, and would you eliminate the same one?
Yeah, it's an easy elimination for Clooney for sure. I echo everything you guys say. I'm the same age there as X-Men Supreme, so yeah, I lived that same life growing up with Keaton as Batman. He will always be Batman in my heart, same way Kevin is the voice of Batman. But I'm gonna take a little different opinion. For me, I think the best representation of Batman on screen from a heavy comic book nerd is Affleck. I think he nails the look of what I envision of Batman. I want somebody that's like 6'3", 240 pounds. All these other guys are good, but they're just a little too skinny. You know what I mean? I want somebody that if I bumped into a back alley, I'm shitting my pants over it. And that's the look that Affleck gave. And I thought his limited interpretation of Bruce Wayne was so good. I thought it was really good. I just never really got the chance to shine on that side of thing. But I think he's the best. To me, he's the best representation from the comic book Batman that we've seen so far.
100%. And I think in a lot of ways, the only Batman that's even slightly believable that could go toe to toe with a Superman and even stand like more than about 30 seconds worth of chance.
Yep.
Because I've always thought that was a funny fight, the way that they put those guys together. It's like Superman should destroy Batman, but physicality wise,
but he never would. Don't listen. I can go down the Superman road
we could go
hours because that's my number one. There's a reason why he could stand toe to toe with them. Because
we'll do a Let's Get Nuts specifically for who would win in a fight at some point. Before I go to Utah, Riley Reviews here with us. Good to see you, buddy. Riley's channel's doing really, really well lately. He's had some wild viewership on some of his videos lately. Not the shorts, thankfully. And I say thankfully because getting viewers on videos is freaking hard, guys. So give Riley a shout out. If you don't already follow Riley's reviews or Riley reviews, definitely do so. Really good guy. He's about the only other person too that can sometimes beat me to those like figure announcement videos. I'll like see something at like 6 minutes after it's posted. I'll throw a t-shirt on, throw my hat on, jump in my collection room, start recording. I'll hit the like send button to YouTube, and his video's out like 15 minutes before mine. I'm like, damn it, Riley. But fair. Well deserved. Good job, sir. Good hustle. He says every answer other than Pattinson is wrong. Again, I do, and no offense to Riley, I do think that goes into some age as well. I wouldn't call him a kid, but I would say that that's an age thing for nostalgic wise. I can see why you feel that way. Yeah. But
the rest of your panel band that is quite older.
I'm 37, so
I
like,
would
fair
love
enough.
to be 37.
So would I.
Oh my
Jesus.
God. You guys are hilarious. I'm the young one here. Oh, that makes me feel so nice. I appreciate that. Ty, what's your favorite Batman and why? And who would you be what Batman would you eliminate? Maybe it's the same answer.
It's pretty easy for the one that's going to be eliminated. That's Clooney. I don't really speak his name as far as Batman is concerned. But as the elder statesman of the panel, I started with Adam West, and I thought it was cool with the pows and the boom and, all that stuff in the show. Keaton is going to be my number one because he showed me that dark side. Like, because growing up, I grew up with the Super Friends Batman, that Adam West Batman, that whole type where he was smiling, laughing, playing with Scooby-Doo and whatnot. So when I saw the trailers for the Keaton Batman, I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then that got me going down and reading the comics. I'm like, wait, Batman's actually not goofy. He's cool. Like, he's dark and cool. And like, I really vibe with him. Like, I was just drawn to Batman from the start. For me, Keaton and Conroy are like tied for number one because the animated series just basically took the Keaton Batman and just kept going with it. So to me, they're almost like one and the same. So I give them like one, and they're just tied. I couldn't pick between the two of them. For my honorable mention, I would say I agree with Mike. I was very disappointed to see that we were not going to get an Affleck Batman, like a solo movie with him, because he was the highlight for me of that awful Batman versus Superman thing. Like, that was the one movie I almost walked out of the theater on.
Really? Jesus.
But it was so expensive to take my family. I sat there. And I sat through it. My son fell asleep. I had to wake him up. I had to wake him up to tell him finally that Affleck was wearing the suit.
Wow.
Like, are you kidding me? So, but just like Mike said, seeing him, like, he's what I would envision Batman. That big brooding, son of a bitch in an alley. Like, you do not want to see that. And like the fight scene in Batman versus Superman is classic with not him and Superman, but him fighting in that warehouse with all those dudes. That's like straight out of Arkham. That fight scene is just classic. We actually watched that the other week. We just kept replaying that. Like, look, why is he so brutal? It was like awesome. I wanted to see what Affleck could do as Batman. And so it's disappointing that we're not going to get to see that. So he's like honorable mention. Bale, I like the Batman Begins suit. And I'm going to leave it there. Like, as the movies went on, they were good, but I couldn't understand what he was saying half the time with the like come on, like, put that other suit back on.
Pretty good impression.
Put the Begin suit on and stop talking like that. So so he would be third, I would guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, he'd be third. Like, Adam West, he's an honorable because he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. But yeah, Keaton and Conroy definitely number one. Affleck. Is there any way we could get him? Any way?
Affleck back? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because everybody would be like, well, if you're going to bring Affleck back, then you have to bring Cavill back.
I'm all for that too.
And now James Gunn's put all his money on this new guy. So I'm like, I think that
the hell with Gunn. They don't make good decisions. As far as Pattinson, like I understand why people are into him now. Like he's fine, but he's not. I enjoyed the way he portrayed the character and everything. But yeah, he's not. He's not going to make the top 3. He's not going to crack that. Sorry, Riley.
Fair enough. Guys, well said. Thanks for all your comments, guys. There is everybody watching. Lots of interesting takes there. I think it does depend kind of where, I talk about that nostalgic punch in the chest all the time when I talk about things that I love. And to be honest, I have nostalgia for almost every Batman that's on the screen right now. Do I have preferences? Of course, but they all give me a different nostalgic memory for their own reasons. And to me, that's one of the reasons Batman will always be super special to me, and why Batman Weekend and Day and 85th anniversary is so freaking exciting. And I'm really excited to see who the next Batman will be. And what that represents. Are we finally going to get a live action Batman that has the lit up, white eyes instead of being able to see his eyes through the cowl? Maybe that would be my guess if James Gunn's running it, but we'll see. We got Action Figure Academy here with a $9.99 super chat, dude. Thank you so much for your generosity, man. He says, "Happy Batman Day, Ben." You as well, good sir. I think we deserve to give him something a little extra special, because you know what? That $9.99, that's a fundraiser for this channel at this point, buddy. So this is for you.
You either die.
Not that one. Well, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. 1 second. Oh, I thought that was the right one. There we go. Ready? This is for you.
No, you don't understand. One fundraiser with my pals. You'll never need another cent.
Thank you so much, good sir. One last one for you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on here, guys. Jazzinc has been in the news quite a lot lately with regards to their Keaton Batmobile that a bunch of reviewers are getting a chance to see their test batches on. Of course, pitting directly against the Hot Toys version. You guys see behind me, I've got the Hot Toys version right there. While I think that that's a great vehicle, I definitely think that there are improvements that absolutely could have been done as a 2.0 Hot Toys version. I can't believe they didn't give it a USB functionality. I think that's like wild for a 2.0 at this point. The fact that you still have to put batteries in it is crazy. And it's pretty much just black plastic. There's really no paint applications to it. It's great. It's beautiful. I love it. But Jazzinc definitely has the better vehicle from everything that I've seen. And the Hot Toys Tumbler, I've always been critical of because I've always thought that it looked really freaking small. And I mean, don't get me wrong, in somebody's collection, it's still a beast, but it looks too small compared to what its 6-scale counterpart should look like, at least in my mind's eye. Jazzinc has told us, or Yost from Jazzinc, on his YouTube channel last week has shown that there's some significant interest with regards to the tumbler and having Jazzinc make one. He's talking about having die-cast components in there, potentially die-cast paneling, size accurate as well, so it'll be bigger, of course, than the Hot Toys one as well, significantly more heavy. I've got the DeLorean, the Back to the Future 2 DeLorean, and the Keaton Batmobile. I think for me, that's probably where I'll tap out on vehicles. I would be interested in something like a Jurassic Park Jeep or something along those lines, something that's vastly different. I don't think there's any chance in hell that I'll get this. But I was curious because it's still kind of exciting news to hear that, they're considering it. Do you think it's too soon to have announced this? I mean, most people still don't have their Keaton Batmobile from them in yet. There's been a couple of issues with shipping and some of the denting and stuff, some of those QC things that they need to work out before everybody's happy. Do you think they should have waited to kind of announce that they may be looking into this, or do you think that this is the right time to do so? X-Men Supreme, I'll go with you first, buddy.
No, I think because Yost is always kind of in the mill, right? Like they're always kind of going over with the community on Facebook, what's the next thing we should work on? What do you guys want? Things of that nature. I don't think it's too early to talk about it. I haven't seen, and I haven't looked in the last couple of days, I haven't seen where they've said, officially if they're going to make it yet or not. But I do remember him saying that there's interest and that he's considering it. I know they're still working on their pre-orders right now for the animated Batmobiles, which I am so sad to say that I am not on board with. I would love to get it, but I am already maxed out on space. I may be moving a couple of pieces out just to make more room. Because, it's you can make more money, but you can't make more, shelf space if you ain't got the room for it. So I'm definitely, I don't think that is too early at all. I feel like it's almost necessary, especially when you're a smaller company, when you're doing, a smaller run of something, probably is behooving to hit it as early as you can to get as much support behind it as you can. Because, not everyone's always watching. I mean, even as big a fan of Jazzinc as I am, I'm not always looking at Facebook. I'm not always looking at social media and everything. So a lot of stuff does get missed, or you find out things, later on than maybe you would have wanted to. So I think it's perfectly fine that he's doing it right now. I would be interested to see how his will look compared to the Hot Toys ones. Because like you, I've always thought that the Hot Toys one was massively underscaled. When you see Batman standing next to it, it looks so tiny compared to him. It does, and it's and it's I'm curious to see what theirs will do. I haven't looked at the measurements of what the actual tumbler on screen, what it looks to be dimension wise. So I don't know how far off the Hot Toys one is. I always assume the Hot Toys is off because they usually are. So
funny you mentioned that too in terms of the scaling, because I've also seen from the perspective of the film, when you're watching the movie, I think it looks like humongous, right? When it's jumping over rooftops and stuff, it looks big. But then I've also seen them driving around the street, I think Jay Leno has one, or somebody out there in the world has one. And they actually do look smaller than I would envision based on what my perception of the film is, but still it does feel a little underscaled in terms of the Hot Toys.
That's true. I mean, it could be the right size what Hot Toys put out. It's Robert Downey Jr. isn't a big guy. Tom Cruise isn't a big guy. But they don't look that little on screen, so
they just stand on a box and you're good to go.
It could very well be it.
12-inch Moose Dream says, too soon, just talk. Yost is thinking ahead. And 12-inch would know. I think he's got all of the Jazzinc vehicles at this point, including the Star Wars ones. So one of the bigger supporters I've seen, for sure. And to be honest, I've always said this, I think that the war between Jazzinc and Hot Toys, or at least the community war that's kind of ensuing lately, I think is kind of ridiculous. Who cares where you get your stuff from, as long as you like it and you're willing to pay the money for it? I was called cheap on my review of my Batman Hot Toys recently. I was told that I basically wasted my money because I didn't get the better one. All these different perspectives, and you know what? That's just the way the world is on the internet. But on the other hand, I'm who cares? Who cares where you buy your collectibles from, as long as you like it and love it? That's what should matter, right? I've been a supporter of Yost. I've had a chance to talk with him very briefly through Collecting Weekly. He was the only company in the Collecting Weekly awards ceremony last year that actually took time to do a video thank you video for us to be able to post. We didn't hear from Hot Toys, we didn't hear from So, we didn't hear from any of those other companies. Yost actually did a thank you video for people. I thought that was cool. And I think, I don't want to burn the guy out either, because I can imagine the amount of stress and pressure he's under right now to try and get this Batmobile, this Keaton one, out the door to people and keep everybody happy. And it sucks. You know what? I don't want to burn these folks out, because I don't want them to just say screw it and stop making it. Take the money they've already made and then just be done, which they could easily do. Ty, what are your thoughts on a Batmobile tumbler, or I should say a Dark Knight tumbler? Do you have any 6-scale vehicles in your collection? Is this something that would ever interest you?
I have plenty of 6-scale vehicles, more than I thought I would ever have. I'm waiting on the Jazzinc 89 Batmobile, and I pretty much think that's going to be my last 6 scale vehicle because, again, just like X-Man Supreme said, I don't have the space. Like I'm in an apartment and, trying to find space for these things. Like I got the Ecto, and from Blitzway, I've got the 2022 Batmobile. I've got the Hot Toys tumbler, which, it always does look humongous on film. But when you there's a documentary that was I think part of one of the Batman movies I bought, but it's also on YouTube where it shows all the Batmobiles up until the Justice League one, and you see it's not that big. Like it's big, it looks like this hulking vehicle, but it's not. And so I don't know how far off. I'm sure Hot Toys is off by a bit because they usually are, but I don't know if they're super off with it because it has that intimidating look about it. I think the Jazzinc version will be fantastic. I think as a business too, they have to look ahead. Like even though they were putting the finishing touches on this Batmobile, they've got to be looking at what's next. What else do we have in the pipeline? So I don't think it's too early for them to be saying, hey, look, what do you think about these ideas for a tumbler? I think being die-cast is going to weigh a lot. My Hot Toys tumbler is actually heavier than the Batmobile, than the Pattinson Batmobile, and I don't know why. Like it looks like it wouldn't be, but it's heavier for some reason, and so I don't get it. I think Yost will do a fantastic job on it, though. Like a lot of lights where they should be. The Hot Toys one feels a little delicate at times. Like when I was just piecing it together out of the box, I was afraid I was going to snap something and break it. Not gonna lie. So I don't touch it too much, and the canopy, the way they do it, feels like it's gonna break every single time you try and open it up and lift it to just have Batman stand in it. But it hasn't broken. It hangs in there, but it's frightening every single freaking time. But yeah, I think go for it. It's not for me. I'm gonna stick with the Hot Toys one, because I'm not gonna pay another $1,800. Not for a tumbler. No thanks. I wish I had gotten that 66 though. You're muted, Ben.
Hate to see it. Well, muting etiquette gets you every time. Thanks for the heads up. I think it's too bad that we couldn't have seen this sooner from Jazzinc, and I only say that because I do think Dark Knight fatigue is really set in for a lot of people as well. How many Dark Knight figures and stuff even in the last year have we got? A couple of different armories that are still coming, and it's like I feel like the general consensus is okay, can we move on now? We love those movies. Don't get us wrong. As collectors, we love them, but we don't need to keep seeing it necessarily. But then it seems like the support is potentially here for this. So you get to kind of see the voices of both sides of the fence, it seems like a lot of the time. That's why I say it's hard to keep everybody happy. You'll never be able to win. So get it if you can. Don't if you don't want it. We got Julio saying, I bought the BVS Batmobile from Jazzinc, and it's just amazing to look at. 100%. One of the things that I was a little disappointed on, and you actually brought it up, Ty, was the lighting in my Hot Toys Batmobile is super underwhelming. And then seeing the videos of the Jazzinc light, like the dashboard light display that it's in there, that looks 100 times better. I don't know, almost to the point where I was like, do I have lights that are broken? Why is it this dark inside? It's so weird. Were you going to say something else, Ty?
I think I was going to say something. And
I was going to say something.
And I think it's just boom.
See, Ben, this is what happens when you stream with us older folks.
I see.
Happens
now
to
it all
me.
makes sense.
It happens to me a whole lot of the time. Trust
we
me,
got a good friend of the channel here, Evil Sneaker, one of our channel members, great community member. You can always catch him over on his own channel there, of course, on Evil Sneaker's channel, but his live stream tonight, the sneak peek, make sure you see that as well. He did post yesterday that he'd be up on there having a little bit of fun. As well as Wolfpack Wednesdays. I was on a business trip this week, and I had to be at the airport at 4:30 in the morning on the plane by 5. and the only thing I had downloaded was Wolfpack Wednesday from last week. So I got to wake up with the boys on the airplane on my way, and it was a great show. So make sure you check out Evil Sneaker tonight on the Sneak Peek. Mike, would you ever get a Jazzinc tumbler or any other vehicle? I don't even know if you have any vehicles in your collection, buddy.
I would not. The only real vehicle I have the DeLorean that I got a few weeks ago.
Yes, I remember you. Sorry, I did know you had that because you shared
okay.
that with me. Yeah.
And that's really the only one. Short answer is no. I don't think I would get this, and it's not a Jazzinc, versus Hot Toys thing, because obviously I could have gotten the Hot Toys one. But yeah, like everybody, right? It's just the amount of money and then the space that you have to dedicate to those. It's just not something that I really want to commit to. I'm glad I have the DeLorean. It was kind of an impulse buy. I got a great deal on it. I'm happy with it, no regrets. But it's not a line, so to speak, that I want to go down. Back to your initial question, is it too soon? My first thought when he posted this was exactly that. I was almost thinking like, man, you're getting so much heat right now. You really want to drop another one that you can so easily compare to what Hot Toys have done. But then I thought like when you go through all those groups and those chats and you see all the posts, you realize that the complaining, if you will, that people that were being negative towards the Jazzinc stuff wasn't even so much a comparison to the Hot Toys. They were pulling up all these screen images and comparing this and that. So really, it's almost like there's nothing that he can do that's not going to get that kind of scrutiny, right? And rightfully so. I mean, they're expensive, but I would have almost rather have seen them go down a route of something completely different, but realize I don't know what he has for licensing rights, and now that he's licensed by WB, maybe he gets more pressure to just stick to this instead of doing other things. But I know he's teased like doing Kit from Knight Rider or something like that. I think that would be really cool, right? No one's touched that. Something like that would be cool. I'm also surprised to see that he's kind of pumping this up, but you don't see much mention that his pre-orders for the 66 back cycle are up right now, and nobody's talking about that.
That's interesting.
Which, granted, is maybe a more niche thing, and I don't know what it costs, but it's something different. It looks pretty cool. Like, I would almost kind of maybe, if I was him, bring more attention to that, something that's different and unique, than almost kind of putting fuel on the fire that he has right now with dropping again something that Hot Toys can easily drop a 3.0 or 4.0 version of that thing, anytime they want, and he's right back where he started, with all the comparisons and stuff. But again, who knows what kind of rules he has now with being licensed. It's stuff that we can only take guesses at. We don't know, but I do at the same time think he needs to constantly be looking ahead and looking 4 or 5 things into the future to plan for, right? I mean, that's the only way a business like his stays afloat. You have to be planning and having to be able to pulling in those funds for the next 3-4 things down the road in order to pay for what you're committed to now. So it makes sense that he would keep putting things out. This is no different than Hot Toys or InArt or any of those companies. But yeah, I would have personally, again, I'm not buying it because it's more money than I want to invest in this type of stuff. So maybe my vote doesn't count to that point, but I would have loved to have seen something like a kit or something just different.
Absolutely. Ty, you said, do you remember what you wanted to say there as well, buddy, or has it gone again?
It was a mini rant because we were talking about the Dark Knight fatigue that people might be setting in for people. The thing I don't understand is, why does Hot Toys, they put all this Dark Knight stuff out and they constantly disrespect Batman Begins? That was my beef. Like, every single time, like, we start talking about it, they do this anniversary, celebrating, Batman with a blue and gray Bale, tech suit Batman. Like, what the hell is that all? Why do they disrespect the Batman Begins?
Right? Where's my Ra's al Ghul figure? Where's my updated Scarecrow?
Why is there no love for that movie and that suit?
Yeah.
Nothing. They will constantly put out a Dark Knight.
So Ty, that's a great segue into our next segment here, because Hot Toys started off the 85th anniversary this week.
Look at this
with this thing, this repainted version
right there.
of the Batman Begins figure. And I've had the Batman Begins figure in my collection. Here it is on the left. And I liked the black and red look. The cape was kind of shitty. Honestly, Batman Begins, even from the game, should have had a red interior of his cape. I thought that was wild that he didn't have that for Batman Begins. When I close my eyes and think of Batman Begins, though, still I think of Terry McGinnis, the more slimmed down, slender version of the character. So seeing him here beefy, it was a cool skin in the video game to play with. But I really don't feel like anybody truly needed another representation of it. And I will say that one of my biggest criticisms with this figure originally was how big it actually was. It was my first video game series figure ever. And you can see on the left photo him standing beside my DX12 Batman. And it made that Batman look like a child in the display. Like, it was wildly large. On the right-hand side, that's the diecast Mark VII Iron Man. Still quite a bit taller. And I gave these photos because I think most people have had these figures in their collection or already do. And then him in comparison even to Mandalorian. And so, but look at the Batman difference back to back there. Insane.
Yeah.
And so it was something that I didn't... It was something I didn't do my homework on, honestly, Dave. Because I originally got it. Back then I was not a YouTuber yet. I just watched influencers on screen, right? And Jetta Patrol at the time told us all, this is the coolest figure that you'll ever see. This is the best Batman that's ever going to exist, and he's going to be gone. He's going to be gone. Nobody's going to be able to get him. Make sure you lock this bad boy in, basically. And I was like, oh my god, okay, well I better get this figure then.
He got me too.
Right. I didn't do any homework. I didn't look into the measurements of this figure. And when I got this out in the display, I was like, oh shit, it is huge. It's the first figure I ever sold in my collection. the first figure.
Me too.
And so I honestly don't need the golden version as a result. I just don't. But they also gave us the Batgirl here, which is another repainted version here, the purple and yellow look. And with regards to this figure, it looks like it's virtually the same. I think the materials look like they're the same. I've heard some people ask if the hair is different. I don't think that it is. No. Unfortunately, it might just be the way that the photos are coming through. Credit where credit is due. I do think that this is a better look for this figure, even though both of these are not skins that were playable in the game itself. They're just simply repaints for Sideshow. I honestly think Hot Toys was just throwing them a little bit of a bone. These were not playable character suits in the game. They're literally made up out of thin air. But back to you, Ty, first, and we'll go with you first. The black one was. Purple one was.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, the purple one was not a skin. My apologies.
Okay.
That was a confusing way to say that. Yeah, and the gold Batman Begins was not a playable suit.
Okay,
the other two versions were.
That's Batman Beyond, though.
Batman Beyond. My apologies. I keep wanting to say Begins. Yeah, I said that. Actually, I put that even in my show sheet chat. And Danny Spotchka was like, "Oh, what Batman Begins figure? They've done another one?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, no, that's sorry, Beyond. My bad." But overall, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's so many other Batman figures and characters that we would want. The Arkham Origins Batman is still a notable hole in people's collections. That one hasn't happened yet. There are other figures that we might talk about later that would pair well with another figure that we're going to talk about. Like, there's lots of great Batman characters. Why these ones specifically? Ty, what are your thoughts on both the golden Batman here and this purple and yellow suit? Batgirl.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
I had the black and gold Batgirl, and it's a decent figure, but I did end up selling her. It didn't really do anything in the collection. I wasn't all that enamored with it. It came time to start reorganizing. I'm like, yeah, she can go. It's an okay figure. I'm not that happy with the Arkham Knight figures in general. I do have the Batman from Arkham Knight. I have that armored one. He's nice. He does not like to move at all, though. Like he is so stiff, let's say, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. But I will say he's huge. Okay, I'm getting myself in trouble here. But
raging, one might say.
Yeah, he's a big figure. Like, the only Batman that comes close to matching him in size is like Affleck Batman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the collection. But like, you know, I was gonna sell him, but something happened to the cape, and you know, so I'm just gonna keep him. Um, I used to watch Batman Beyond, and it was okay. It's not my favorite Batman, but like seeing this figure, he looks cool and all. But like you, I think of the Terry McGinnis, you know, the skinny, the you know, almost like a Spider-Man type of Batman. So this never really appealed to me. And this abomination right here, like the fact that they did this, and you know, people took pic. Look. Can do I have to watch my language?
To a certain extent, there might be
Okay.
some kids out there. I've
Okay.
said most
What
of the
the hell
time that
is
we're at
this?
least PG-14.
I'm just gonna
At
keep
least.
it. What the hell is this? Like, why? Why? Do you see what they do to Batman Begins figure? That abomination. But yet here's a gold-plated thing. Like everything is gold. What Batman do you know would dress like this?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually made this. I had the same criticism of the WB100 Batman, the Christian Bale, where he was like he had the bright blue sections.
Yeah.
And it's like while I get that there's comic book versions of Batman that have the blue and gray, the blue Bale man was kind of like, okay, his whole shtick was like living in the shadows, right? Being in the shadows and making fear your ally and all the things. But like you'd see that dude standing in the freaking shadows, because he's shiny and blue. Same thing here. This doesn't look like Batman Beyond in any way, shape, or form now in terms of size, scaling, the outfit, the coloration scheme. Like it's no longer a Batman Beyond like representation. It's just it's a repainted version, which is super weird.
It's just a thing, you know. Like now the Batgirl, the purple, that's like a throwback to like '66 Batgirl. Like I can dig her. I like her color actually better than the black and gold. I mean, still not going to get it because I sold the original, and this is just a repaint of that one, like completely.
It's the same figure.
In my
same
opinion.
figure.
I never liked the way they did the legs. Like it's not a suit. You know what I mean? Like so you can see where the leg
looks more like
joints
a
are.
toy.
Yeah,
It does look a bit more like a toy.
And that bothered me. I didn't think it would bother me as much until I had her like, you know, on the shelf. And I was like, I don't really like this. You know, I don't like this at all. And I couldn't pose her that well either. So, you know,
I've heard her posability was good, actually, Ty. Sorry to cut you off. I have heard that the posability was strong, and that was one of the benefits of the figure, but I haven't had her in my collection, so I can't say it myself.
Yeah, she stood like this. Like I had her like this on the shelf, like the black and gold one you got here, this picture. Right. And she did that very, very well. I didn't go too much further. Like I would try to move her, but her heels just weren't, you know, I mean, it could also be me. So I'm not gonna, you know, throw that out. Like, yeah, maybe I'm just a bad poser. So I'm not gonna rule that out. But yeah, you know, the stuff they could have given us, but they give us this, especially this week of all weeks. You know, shame on you, Hot Toys, shame on you.
Interesting thoughts. Mike, I would say, you know, I've seen that common criticism, kind of what Ty is saying in the community a lot this week, right? Like, why the hell did they make this? Who even asked for this? Why do we want this? This isn't cool at all. On and on and on and on. People being some of us like really actually like heated and almost like angry about it at first. Do you feel like the anger is warranted, or do you think it's just that Hot Toys has kind of taught us that when important anniversaries come up, that they often like kind of miss the mark for the characters we actually want? So then when we see characters we're like lukewarm on, it feels even that much more insulting, because then there's so many other ones that we'd rather have, and yet we know with Hot Toys they often disappoint, especially when it comes to anniversaries. And 85 years is a big anniversary. Seems really strange that they started with these two. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it is strange. I would first, to your question, I don't think anger is an appropriate response for anything in this hobby. Disappointment, frustration, yeah, but to get beyond that is something you don't want to see, and I don't think that's why we're here.
Totally.
Agreed.
Yeah, this one, yeah, it looks good. I think that purple and gold pops. I mean, I'm not getting it, just because it's not something that interests me, even though I played the games and all that stuff. But I think this would really pop on someone's shelf. The other one, the Batman Beyond, is, I don't know. I'm sure somebody out there likes it. So I hate to be that guy, but it's ridiculous. It's just it's so gold. Like, they just took every piece off of it and dipped it in gold. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting it regardless, but they could have been a little classier in their choosing of how much gold that they put on this thing. I mean, they could have highlighted it and something like that, but it's just ridiculous. It's just obnoxious.
Can you imagine? We're trying to figure out who Batman is, and now he's running around in a golden outfit. I think it might be Bruce Wayne. Who else can afford it in Gotham?
Who can afford that?
You know he's got money.
Yeah, that's right.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And yeah, to Ty's point, I'm 100% with them. There's so many other things that they could have done for a Batman Day release. And two, this isn't. I wouldn't think this. You see all these clone repaints in gold and stuff, right? And we always just assume they have all these extra parts and they're easy to make and all that. But like these two figures, I mean, haven't they been like sold out forever? Like, I can't imagine they just had a plethora of Batman Beyond sitting around and they said, you know what, let's dip these in gold and resell them.
Well,
It's
Batman
just
Beyond
bizarre.
sat for a long time. It actually did sit for a long time, which again is part of the reason I was so pissed when I kind of bought into the FOMO and then bought it and then didn't do my homework and it didn't fit in my display and then I sold it at a loss and then saw it sit there for a while. And then it sold out, and then it actually hit like between $400 and $500 on the secondary for a period of time, because then everybody wanted it, of course, once it sold out. But then that was, I think, at least, that's got to be 2 years ago at this point. So it's definitely been a while. You're right. I don't think that they just had a stock just sitting there, for sure. X-Men Dave, what do you think, buddy? Because you mentioned earlier, talking about Kenner toys and that you started with, Keaton Batman toys and stuff like that back in the day. And one of my favorite things when I was younger was, the films would come out and you'd get all these different variants of a Batman, right? You could get Scuba Batman and you could get, Fire Crotch Batman and like all these random ones. But is this not kind of the same concept?
This is 100% that. This is exactly that. Like this guy right here, because I remember when I think it was Batman Returns, when Batman Returns came out, that's when they really hit it. Kenner said, we're going to fuck these dudes up. They're like, check this shit out. And there was a gold Batman from one of those lines. From the Batman Returns Kenner line, there was a gold Batman. He had the full suit was gold, except the cape and the cowl and the gloves and the boots were black. And they had like a blue one and they had a silver one with like this weird quilted thing. They had all the if you know. And that's 100% what this is, which is the thing that makes me smile the most about it. But also, like, look, here's the thing. I think there's a market for this gold Batman because there's a lot of Power Rangers fans out there and no one's made a Goldar.
Oh my God. It does look like Goldar. I've seen a bunch of people say that lately. Like,
I heard that Friday on our stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jose
So,
actually posted a picture.
Yeah.
I can see this is make my monster grow. That's fucking crazy, dude. Like, yeah, it's I don't think this was the thing to lead with. I think it's a fun idea. I'll go with that. I actually do dig the Batgirl coloring a lot for the same reasons as probably everybody else. I've always been wanting a 66 Batgirl, and I'm betting Yost is going to do it. But I think that's mostly why I like this. And honestly, even with the legs, because I thought about getting the original Batgirl that they made for a while, but two things kept me from doing it. One was those damn legs. That's just awful. Like, what is this G.I. Joe crap? Friggin' give her the splits and you got the ball pegs right there. What is
it's
this
almost
crap?
Mondo. It's Mondo-esque.
Yeah, see, but like Mondo, that's what Mondo's supposed to be. That's not what Hot Toys is supposed to be. And
Totally agree.
I could probably overlook that, and it's not Hot Toys' fault. It's just the character design. Those fragging earmuffs annoy the hell out of me. I just can't with the earmuffs. I can't. It looks like she's getting ready to DJ somewhere or something. This is not. It just. I don't. And they stand out even more with the purple suit because they're not purple. They're like gunmetal, something grayish. They're off somehow, and it's just
interesting.
No, man. If they didn't have,
I don't think I'm not gonna be able to unsee that now. I haven't noticed that before, and now that's 100% right.
If she didn't have the earmuffs, I'd probably buy her because I think she looks good overall. Yeah. And I love Barbara Gordon. I've always been a Batgirl fan, but this ain't it. You know what though? Hey, you put Goldar there with the original Batgirl. Hey, they look pretty smart together, I'll bet. But also, how tall is she? Because he's a giant. Is she a giant too? Is it just this line?
He's a big boy.
No, she's not that big.
No, I would love to see a Goldar.
No, she's normal size.
Okay, because that's great. Like these figures, like the designs for the Arkham series, I think work great in the games. I don't think they translate well otherwise. I don't think they work outside of the games, which is a shame because they look really cool in the games.
They do. But, they're fun to play with.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like being able to swap between the outfits and stuff. I think that's really fun. Ty, you said you had a question.
Yeah. Again, just with X-Men Supreme, like I don't think they translate very well, and I think that's why my Arkham Batman is probably my least favorite Batman figure. But what I was gonna say is when we were talking about the WB, the anniversary Batman, they the blue and gray, the Bale one they did. Why didn't Hot Toys do something really cool and do a 2.0 of the Adam West, or just release the Adam West Batman again, the 66?
That would have been so good.
It would have fit right in with that color scheme.
That would have been so good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would have well, that color scheme specifically, Ty, not to cut you off, I thought almost would have looked better on virtually every other Batman suit. Even the Val Kilmer suit, because of its like tall pointed ears. I think it could have looked kind of similar to the old school like comic look for him.
Like the 70s Batman, yeah.
Somebody did a mock-up of the Keaton suit in that color scheme, and that looked really good for what the guy did.
Even the BVS. BVS looked really freaking cool with it. Like almost every other suit except for Bale's.
It would have been a great thing to bring him back for that anniversary. Like great for WB. Like how many of those do you think they would have sold?
Oh, every single one of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
I mean, look how good the Mars
with
toys
excitement,
went.
right? I think that's the thing. I think because the other thing that I've noticed, especially with these two releases that we're talking about, is that with the limit of 2,000, they'll still sell because people like limited items. But I like, for me at least in my own collecting, I try to really stay away from collecting because something is limited, but not unless like I have to have the love for it and it being limited. Sure, I'll chase it. But if it's just limited, I'm like I don't feel like I need it. I'm willing to let kind of whoever else wants it more have it. Because while it's limited, that's not to say that they're never going to make it again either. Is that the case? Like I would even say like I've had exclusive figures bite me in the ass as recently as the my Shadow Trooper, the Hot Toys Shadow Trooper. When I got that in 2017, it says exclusive right on the box, everything like that, Comic-Con exclusive. And now there's another one that exists with an even cooler backdrop and everything. So like I would never encourage, especially new collectors, to buy because of limited or exclusivity. Buy because it's got that nostalgic punch in the chest, or you just love the character. Because otherwise, like most people I've talked to about this figure this week have been like this.
How about nude?
But it'll still sell anyways. I should have added the "I love gold" in there as well. Missed opportunity.
What do you guys think would have been the reception had it, and maybe instead of this, they would have dropped one of those Keaton suits from the Flash that they teased. Remember
Yes.
they kind of had that
Thank
all
you.
of armor. If they want to do something different with color, they could have dropped one of those.
Yes.
They teased that whole armory and nothing. I was so hyped for that armory. I saw that. I said, "Man, I want all of those."
That looks cool.
I was so excited
honestly,
about that.
They're looking for something that's essentially just a repaint or something easy. I mean, there it was.
Yeah, true. Well, and like if they were looking for something easy, it's hard to know. It like even like because they teased the bat. What am I trying to say? The bat computer setup, the Keaton bat computers a while back, and I'm like, man, that would be a really cool display. Like having Batman in front of his computer set up and all that, and then like you could save the gargoyle for somebody else or whatever. But nope. No, that's the way she goes. Guys, let us know in the chat or on the replay. Are you going to get yourself in the lineup for the limited items here on the screen, the Golden Batman? Does this figure size surprise you? I hope there's even just one person that watches that says, Jesus, Ben, I'm glad you showed that picture because I did not realize he was so head and shoulders taller than everybody else.
That is comically large.
It was shocking to me. It was shocking. And one of the biggest reasons I decided to move him on. I just felt like he didn't even feel in scale to the rest of my collection, which was really, really strange. So, but guys, we got 2 more pieces of figure news that I want to get into here before the show wraps today. We do have 50 to 60 people watching live. Thank you so much for getting nuts with us today, guys. We appreciate you. I'm seeing all your comments down the side. Of course, I can't address every single comment, but your comments are certainly welcome here. If you have the opportunity, if you've forgotten, like I always do in my own friends' streams, please hit the like button if you had the opportunity. It definitely helps support the show and get it in front of other people for future episodes. Today is episode 53, so feel free to toss a 53 in the comments there as well. Guys, we're finally getting a chance to see a little bit more of Jazzinc's Catwoman. Now, Yost, I should say, has given us lots so far, lots of photos of what the battle damage might look like, some of the different sculpting. I've been really impressed so far. I think he's nailed really, or I should say the artist that's kind of working on the sculpt, I think has really truly nailed the Michelle Pfeiffer look. I can definitely see her likeness in there. I liked some of the science that Yostas talked about collectors coming to him and saying, oh, we really want this scene. Can you try to do this scene? But then when you kind of render that and, like put it in figure format, it looks weird. So then we decided to do this, look instead. And like, there's been lots of great content that he's put out to kind of show the process, to which I appreciate. But we haven't really had much of a chance to see what the full cat suit could look like in combination with the head sculpt. And this is what the clean version as of right now is looking like. Now, keep in mind, this is still in prototype stage. Things may change, including body proportions, from what I'm told. It sounds like this is actually a pretty generic stock body underneath at the moment. Whereas they've dialed in her proportions and everything, and they're saying that that's going to be a little bit more akin to the character in the final rendition of the character in the figure. So, I'm pretty excited. But the question I have for you guys, because I'm going to get a Catwoman either way. There's no way I'm not going to. I've wanted Catwoman in my collection since I started collecting 6 scale, and Batman Returns is one of my favorite films of Batman movies of all time. It's weird because, like, you guys ever have anything that associates your love for something with something else? When I think of Batman Returns, I think of sitting in my nanny's house, my British nanny's house, eating salt and vinegar Miss Vicky's chips. For whatever reason, whenever I think of Batman Returns, I think of Miss Vicky's salt and vinegar chips. So I won't touch this figure with salt. She was British.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she was British. Yeah. So either way, all that being said, I guess the question I have is what freaking SKU do I go with here? Because Jazzinc's got a lot of different SKUs available for us at this point. And on the other hand, I don't necessarily want 2 Michelle Pfeiffer Catwomans in my display. I kind of think that I just want one look. But we're going to look at Batman next after this, spoiler alert. And with the Batman Returns figure coming out from Hot Toys, I also wonder if you guys think there's a possibility we're going to see Catwoman from Hot Toys as well. And if that's the case, now we're going to have way too much selection. We've gone from 10 years of no selection to all of the selection all at the same time, potentially. So for me, I think as of right now, while I like the look of the clean suit, when I'm seeing the photos here, as good as I think it is, I actually think it's a little on the boring side in my heart. I think that the battle damage version of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman looks cooler in figure format. And in combination with the Batman Returns figure we'll look at next, I think them both having that battle damage look from that final scene of the film could be a really cool display. So I think that helps me make my own choice, even just saying it out loud. But I'd be curious. I'll start with you, Dave, X-Men Supreme. What are your thoughts on the first look here at the clean Catwoman? And have you decided if you're going to go with either the battle damaged or the clean or both? This, that, or both? What are your thoughts?
It's one of two choices for me. It's going to be, regardless, I'm getting the battle damage one. So it's going to either be just that, or it's going to be the full-on deluxe set. Because I almost want to get two of the Batman figures, because I want to have, there's the end scene there where he rips the mask off and she's got the hair streaming out, and that's so great. And I'm going to have that on my shelf. But also, I want her licking his face. All right. I want that. Yeah. That's a thing that true. I want on my shelf.
Super
I want that.
Yeah.
And also I do want the diorama with the apartment, because that's every time I think of that movie, every time I think of her, I think of that scene. So for me, I almost have to get the deluxe, the whole shebang there. But the thing is like, with all the shenanery going on behind the scenes, with them not letting him do the licensing in the US, knowing that we're gonna have to go through other places like Spec Fiction or Kit or anything, and I've gotten stuff from Kit, and I love Kit, and I've heard good things about Spec Fiction, so no shade to those guys, but it's going to cost a little bit extra to do that, and I'm a little bit scared about the prices that we're going to see for that 2-pack with the diorama. It's going to be a huge consideration. Now, me, I have been in the mode of curating over the last few months. I dove in hard when I dove in, and I got all, you know how it is. You get into it and you get all the stuff. You're like, oh, this cool thing is happening. This cool thing is happening. But then, get a couple years in, and it's like, well, I don't really need this cool thing or that cool thing. I just want like this handful of IPs, or like this one IP, and I want a few things from it. And that's what I want my collection to look like. So I've been looking at, what can I move out? What do I want to go to the trouble of selling or canceling to better facilitate my curating? And
totally makes sense.
Batman Returns, on any given day, if you ask me, that's most likely going to be my favorite Batman movie.
Makes sense.
So
totally makes sense. Good
so
points.
This one here, and how long have we all wanted this Catwoman?
Oh man, for as long
like
as
the
I've
only
been collecting,
thing,
as I said.
the only thing that I see that is missing from this, and I've said it a few times, they've got Michelle Pfeiffer's likeness. Just make an unmasked sculpt. That's all I want.
Fully unmasked.
That's really all I want.
Yeah.
And I'd be so happy with that. Even if it was just that one sculpt, I'd be so happy with that. But I think that's a missed opportunity. But other than that, I love everything I'm seeing with this. And I feel like I would be doing myself a disservice to not get the whole thing.
Hell yeah. One of the hardest parts for me over the years, because I've been collecting since 2010-ish, maybe tail end of 2009. So what's that, 14 years of collecting. And over the time, when you start, you're like, oh my God, I've got all the space in the world. I want everything. And then you start kind of narrowing it down to some of your favorite characters. And then you start to get multiples of your favorite characters because more cool shit continues to happen. And then you see reissues of things. So then you start swapping things for the next best item. And then, you get to that point where you're like, I really want this in my collection now. So now what do I have to move on in order to justify getting this? The hardest part, but the best part of collecting, which is why I always try to, push against people when FOMO starts setting in. If FOMO starts to set in for you, but you can't either afford it or you can't justify the space, don't do it. Because the cool thing about collecting is never going to stop. They're never going to stop making figures and collectibles, and there's always going to be something in a month from now that you might want more. So don't buy because of FOMO like I did with that Batman Beyond figure, because it bit me in the ass and I've never let it go. I've never stopped thinking about it. I stopped watching that influencer because while it wasn't his fault, he didn't do anything wrong. I just fell victim to the FOMO and it bit me, and I never wanted that to be the case, especially here on Let's Get Nuts. Press X to continue says, I hear that. I sold off all my Mando figures except for my Mando Grogu and the swoop bike. Yeah, making space, right?
I want that so much.
Hey, well, now in the chat, if you ever want to sell it, hit up X-Men Supreme here. You also made some really good points, and Mike, I'd be curious on what your take is on this as well, because Dave was saying there that licensing and getting these figures to the States is actually going to be a bit more of a challenge, unfortunately, due to where they're allowed to sell it. And I think that that's a huge loss for Jazzinc as a company. And like, I'm sure he's fighting against Warner Bros. As a license to be like, if you guys really want us to be successful with this, like, you got to make it available everywhere. Like you just have to, because otherwise, I mean, yeah, going through those third-party retailers can be a bit of a challenge. Now, in full transparency, I've always had good experiences ordering here in Canada from 16 Kit. And, Kit doesn't always have the best customer service, but I think he's also under a lot of pressure all the time. So don't ask him too many questions because he'll bite your head off. But he will get you the figure at the very least. I've always got everything I've ever ordered from them, without any problems. But I don't necessarily want to go through Kit. I would love to be able to just order from the source. What are your thoughts on Catwoman here? Do you have an option that you're thinking that you're leaning towards? Maybe it's the 2-pack. And what are your thoughts on even either distribution, how we're going to get it, and or is Hot Toys going to compete and put one at Sideshow? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I this is actually the first I heard about them not being able to distribute. I kind of checked out on a lot of the Jazz streams and news and stuff once all the drama started up. So, that's not a knock on Jazz or used for not paying attention. I just kind of blocked out the noise. But so yeah, maybe I don't want to sidetrack it, but I'll talk to you guys later about what's going on with that. But and as far as just real quick, it's same way with Kit. Be careful when you try and get in touch with them. But I will say, I've never had an issue getting anything from Kit, and any issue I ever had with what I received from him, like the figure itself wise, he resolved with minimal effort on my end. So I've never had any good experience. So I would second the recommendation for Kit. But and when I get to this figure, kind of like I said, I kind of checked out on some of the noise. There was so much going back and forth on this figure, which I love to see the transparency, especially like you said, Ben, the technology and stuff that they're doing. I kind of said, you know what, I don't care anymore. Tell me what you got when it's ready, and then I'll make my decision, because it was so confusing. And I felt like I was stressing out over it for no reason. Like, oh damn, I want this, but is it going to come with that? And how do I get this? And it was like doing, high school math in my head again, and it was just frying me. I think the look for this is the battle damaged one. I mean, like you said, this is nice, this is clean, but she becomes iconic in this character on screen once the battle damage starts, right? I mean, that's when she really owns this film at that point. So I think that's the look that I would like to go for. Totally. And listen, if Hot Toys really had any balls and they really want to go after Jazzinc, they need to do an artisan Catwoman and just let him fight it out. I think that's the only way that they really challenge used in this one, because if it sounded like price comparison, yeah, it may be a little more expensive, but not crazy, not twice the price like the vehicles and stuff. So I don't think price is going to be the make or break point. So I think if Hot Toys just releases a standard Catwoman, I don't think it's going to compete with what Jazzinc puts out. But if they drop an artisan, with the rooted hair and all that stuff, and I think that's how they go toe to toe with this. So if they really want to go after him, I think they need to do that. Otherwise, just leave it alone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Bit of a bold strategy, that's for sure.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I do think that it's definitely possible that we're going to see Hot Toys come up with one, but like you said, they better do it soon, or else there's going to be quite a few people that are feeling a little upset if they do lock in their money here tail end of the month on the Jazzinc one, and then there's another option, potentially cheaper, maybe one that's easier to actually receive in the States and in Canada. Hard to say.
But when has Hot Toys ever done anything when they're supposed to do it?
Well, that's right? Exactly. I mean, we'll probably get her at Halloween or something, like for all we know, right? Like, yeah, next Halloween. Yeah, like I always thought the Pennywise should have come out at Halloween, and then we got it at like Christmas time by the time it released. Like, it made no
Guardians
sense.
3 Drax and Mantis.
Guardians 3, yes, exactly, right, 100%.
I'm never going to be over that.
Ty, what are your thoughts on Catwoman here from Jazzinc, the clean version? You've probably, I know you've seen the battle damage look so far. Do you have a preference? Are you picking up either one? And what are your thoughts on Hot Toys potentially coming out with one? Oh, 1 second, Ty. That's my fault. I muted you earlier, buddy. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
For me, when I first heard that Yost was going to do it, I said, oh, I'll get the 2-pack, definitely, clean and battle damage. But then after seeing the photos, I started thinking, I don't think I really need the clean one. Like, the clean one looks beautiful, but it's more like just a statue. Like, it's very clean, it's something to prop up. But like Mike said, it's one of those where it's, she really comes to life, and even the figure comes to life, in my opinion, with the battle damage look. Like, seeing those photos, I was like, wow, like that one spoke to me. So I'm really leaning towards just doing battle damage. I don't think I need this whole thing. And like, I just found out Friday from Jose about the way you're going to be able to order these, and not being able to get it directly from Jazzinc, and that did not make me happy at all. Like everyone else, I've ordered from Kit before with no problems at all, until recently. I had an issue that's still kind of ongoing. So spending this kind of money for Jazzinc, I'm a little hesitant now, because I'm afraid I may not get it, because something happened where I ordered a cape and it got sent back for some reason, and I'm still waiting, and it's like over a month. And then, apparently Kid is very famous for his demeanor through the emails. So I'll leave it at that. I kind of ranted Friday. I'm not going to revisit that because that's not really what I'm about. But yeah, I don't think I want to drop down like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, knowing that now I may never get it, or I have to go through a whole lot of hoops and whatnot. I'd rather just order direct from Jazzinc if possible. As far as Hot Toys is concerned, I see them doing what they did when Jazzinc announced the 2022 Batmobile, where they put out a teaser of the rear end of something they probably 3D printed, and darken the lights and put some smoke out there, put a light behind it, just to kind of take some of the thunder away from Jazzinc. I bet you they do this with like a silhouette of Catwoman, and then we never see it. But just to kind of take away that thunder when they officially start to take the pre-orders for it. That's what I'm thinking.
That's dirty as hell too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Oh, hey Ben, you're muted.
You're muted, Ben.
Every time, I swear to God. You know what? It's because I'm trying not to breathe heavily into the microphone. It's like every once in a while, I'll be on Collecting Weekly, and Zach will be like, "Who's breathing so loud?" I'm like,
"It's your show, man. Breathe."
It wasn't me. It wasn't my show. I'll breathe into the microphone. Literally.
Breathe.
Why is Ben so excited about this Catwoman? For some, my hands, they're here. I swear. Sorry to hear you had a bad experience with Kit there too. This is one of the reasons that I don't. One of the reasons that I don't, so far after all these years of doing YouTube, have an affiliate link yet and support local support stores, because not to say that there are any great ones or any bad ones, but it's just like as soon as you stamp your name on a store, somebody's bound to have a bad experience and be like, "But Ben, you told me to go there," and I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it. I would rather just use the channel memberships to do the figure giveaways and give back that way. I think is probably the better way to go. But Hot Toys also gave us a Batman Returns 2.0 figure this week, and this is a beauty. You can see the new one on the left, the old version on the right-hand side. I definitely see the improvements in the sculpt, the Bruce Wayne sculpt. The old one is no slouch, though. I've seen the old one, the bat suit itself, in person, And I honestly think they didn't change too much on it. It looks really freaking good. So this week I did a this or that video on this. Some of you guys might have seen it, because I wanted to know, if you had this old version in your collection, do you even need to buy this newest version? I think one of the benefits of the new version, if you do pick it up, is that because it doesn't come with the whole second Bruce Wayne figure, the tuxedo version, if you have the old version, you can now use that Bruce sculpt on both the battle damaged look, or potentially swap it onto the tuxedo look. So that could be cool. There could be room for both. I was a little critical in my video because I did say that I was shocked that they didn't make his face look a little bit more bloody in that final scene with him and Catwoman. She scratches the hell out of his face, and he's pretty bloody in that scene. But I was corrected by a couple of wonderful channel members out there, including X-Man Supreme on the panel, that not that whole scene, his whole scene wasn't bloody necessarily. When he first pulls his cowl off, he still does have a fresh face. And I wonder if they did that on purpose, so that you could potentially swap that head sculpt either onto your own kit bash or onto the previous tuxed version. Obviously, you don't want to see a tuxed version with a scarred face, right? So
I do.
But oh yeah, see, you do. There you go. So I could be wrong. I don't claim to be right. It's hard to be right all the time. I do think this is cool. And with the diorama display base, the deluxe version came in at $340 on Sideshow. The standard is, I think, $280 or $285, which I think is very reasonably priced, considering the $285 one does not come with the Bruce Wayne sculpt or the empty cowl or that display base. Virtually everything else is there, though. For me, that price differential is too low to not consider getting the deluxe version. Even though I'm running out of real estate, I don't know where the hell I'm going to put another display base. And one of the reasons that I still think that Hot Toys might give us a Catwoman is because you see that Max Schreck logo there, the cat head, that in that one scene in the movie, she looks through the glass with her face, right? Like the big cat head look for Max Schreck. And I'm wondering if that means that, it's a tease, or if it's just, an iconic visual representation from Batman Returns. You see that, you know what movie it's from. So it doesn't necessarily mean a figure is coming. So Ty, I'll start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on this Batman Returns? Is this one that you are picking up? Did you miss on the old version, or was this one that you are able to skip on at this point? What are your thoughts?
I definitely missed on the old version because, part of my shame is I had never watched the full Batman Returns until this year, yes, basically. But now I will definitely get this. It's a Keaton Batman. I'm all about Keaton Batman. So I'm kind of glad I missed out on it, because now I get to get this one, and I would definitely do the deluxe because I want that Keaton sculpt too. So this is a no-brainer for me.
Hell yeah. Actually, press X to continue. So, great point here. By the way, great beard as well, good sir.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if Hot Toys has given us the unmasked Keaton sculpt, but it had the claw marks in the cheek. Talk about a great way to troll your audience. Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because after I made that video and after I gave my passionate opinion on as to why I thought that was a miss that they didn't include the battle damage, after I got a few comments, I was like, okay, I can see the benefit of having the clean one too. I can see it. I don't have a Keaton Tux version in my display. I never got the Mars Toys version.
He's good.
So it would be cool to have a Kit Bash version maybe, though, since I didn't, put the money down on that Mars Toys one. But what are your thoughts here, Mike, on Batman 2.0 Keaton?
Yeah, it looks good. I would almost take the no blood on the face to be a counterpoint to whether they're going to release Catwoman, right? Like everyone's saying, look at the base, they're going to do Catwoman because they're teasing it.
Yeah.
I almost think like maybe they didn't bloody it because they're not going to give you a Catwoman for that scene.
Maybe.
And to your point, Ben, I don't think Hot Toys gives a shit about us in terms of here's a clean head sculpt, go use somewhere else. They don't. I'm
a very optimistic person, okay?
Yeah, I mean that's the Canadian in you, man, looking for the best in everybody. They don't care about that. This looks great. My initial thought was I wasn't going to get it. I have the original 89 one. I didn't get the new one. I was happy with that. My thinking was I'm going to take the approaches. I kind of want to get away from having multiple figures of essentially the same character. But then as I thought about that, I looked up and I saw my clean T2 figure, and I'm going to get the battle damage one too. So in all honesty, I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. I'll probably end up getting this. I hope that the joints in the body are strong enough to hold the suit up in the arms. Because I know that's been an issue, I think, with all of them. I think even the newest one, I think it's better. But
The new 89.
from what I've seen,
hard.
it's still, it's
on
still an
only
issue.
one arm. He can hold up his like grappling hook gun
Yeah.
only on one arm. If I tried it on the other, it's like it goes like this and then immediately falls to like here.
Yeah.
Can't hold it up. Yeah.
Is it the suit?
Yeah.
The suit, yeah. It's pulling
Yeah,
it down.
that suit and that rubber's so thick that it just pulls it straight down. But
Yeah, they didn't
so
ratchet
yeah, I
it
don't know.
properly. It's dumb.
I will probably get it because it's gonna be really hard not to, but we'll see.
True. You know, the issue that I have, Mike, with regards to Batman now, it's just a little bit of PTSD. When that Batman 89 version went up for pre-order, it was one of the most beautiful hot toys I think I'd ever seen put up for pre-order. I mean, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning when I saw that announcement, and I remember being in my house and going down and having a video on it. And I was so excited, and I pre-ordered it immediately, and then it came, and while I'm happy with the figure, I do really feel like it lost something in its likeness. The dimpling on the suit was really concerning and like came out of nowhere. Like that, the roughness just isn't part of the film. It's not part of any of the pictures that I can find reference wise. It wasn't as smooth as the return suit, not nearly, but it definitely wasn't as pockmarked either. And it gives me a little PTSD because this I do think looks really good. But they better not give us a dimpled suit. They better keep the likeness about as good as we're seeing here, because otherwise it would be an extremely disappointing, revisit to that feeling that I've had now
Imagine
for
if
the
they
89.
dimpled this suit?
Oh my God.
Right?
Like,
I mean,
you can't.
Mutant.
Like, honestly,
Can you
if they do, send it back. Like, honestly, at
Yeah.
this point, like, think the
Oh my
89 one, I
God.
can deal with it. If they do it to the return suit, it's 1000% not part of that outfit. It would just be not great. X-Men Supreme, what do you think of the likeness here of this Bruce Wayne and kind of the updates they've given this figure, as well as the, taking out the tuxedo version in favor of a base and the head sculpt? What are your thoughts?
I think it is a very, very impressive prototype. As was the Wolverine prototype.
Yeah.
And well, we know how that ended up.
True.
Still a good head sculpt.
Mhm.
Not what they showed us. So, there's definitely goddamn, look at that. It looks so good. It's hard not to just immediately fall in love with this,
Yeah, right.
I'm definitely getting it. As with, the 89, the avocado suit isn't great. But also, I wasn't collecting back when the DX8 came out.
Yeah.
And I certainly wasn't
yeah,
going to
no
spend all
doubt.
that money on the original.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
so
Definitely.
I think this is more than serviceable. And again, on the shelf, it's like 6 feet away from me. I don't see any of that texture on the suit through my
That goes
detolf
away.
glass. Yeah, so it works out. So I'm definitely ordering this guy. Definitely deluxe or bust, because I gotta have that Keaton sculpt. I gotta have that ripped up cowl. I'm curious if the sculpt is separate, or if they did it like they did, Sebastian Shaw, and it's part of it's part of the bottom of Vader's helmet. I don't know if that's gonna be part of the cowl or if it's gonna be a separate thing. I would imagine that would be a separate thing. I don't know why they would want to put themselves through that agony of trying to, sculpt all
That's
of
a
this
great
around
point.
all
I
of
mean,
that.
There's no confirmation that it actually detaches. You're not wrong. There's a good chance of that being the case, because this original figure, well, no, because the original figure had 2 head sculpts. One came with the figure, the tuxedo version, and one came with the cowled section. But that was separate at the time. But yeah, I guess there's no.
I'm sure.
I assume it is, but it's hard.
Yeah, because it feels like it would be more difficult for them to make that all as one piece.
It
seems like.
True. Does seem that way.
So I
But
have
if
to
it
imagine
means
that
they can screw the collector.
They'll do
You
it.
know,
No kid
you're
matches
not
for you.
wrong. You're not wrong. They love pleather for a reason. So yeah, no, it could be a lot of things that we're not seeing based off of just the images that we have. But I'm still getting it. This is of the 2 suits between 89 and 92. this is the one that I love the most. It's so good. This is such a good suit.
This picture specifically gets me really hyped because I just love the look of that
Oh,
cowl. Like that. Oh my god, I think it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
And I really see Keaton. I really see Keaton in this cowl, Dave. So like, I'm like, man, don't do us dirty. Don't diminish that.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God. So.
But again, from a distance,
still looks pretty good. The only thing that I wish they'd upgraded though, and you mentioned this, or several of us have mentioned it today. Like, it doesn't look like they've changed the cape all that much. They didn't really change it all that much on the 89. I've already got the Jackson Chew cape on order. I'm picking this figure up today or tomorrow. Like, I'll pre-order it, and I think I'm just going to order the Jackson Chew cape right off the bat. So they're here at about the same time.
I can't understand why Hot Toys hates capes so much.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, they did such a bang up job with Moon Knight. Moon Knight is such a great cape.
Oh my god.
Moon Knight is a brilliant cape through and through.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can't do it. It's not like they don't know how. And and the hard part for me,
a lot of the time.
Like, I can't, because I see a lot of the aftermarket capes that people are getting, the custom capes, and they just don't. Every time I see them laying down over the chest, they get this weird little bulge right underneath like the Bat logo, and it's just on the drape capes in particular. And it just doesn't, it looks weird and I don't like it. But I might do the same. I might get a wired cape just because I want to have Batman standing there in front of the Batmobile, like in that scene where it comes out of Axis Chemicals, and Joker's in the helicopter and the wind's blowing the cape back and it looks so friggin' good with the spotlight on him and he's standing up there with the Keaton lean, it looks so good.
Everybody assumes a wired cape and you need like the drastic action pose, right? But just have a wired cape and just have the tail end of it kind of fluttered out.
Yeah,
like
just gives it a little wind.
It's huge. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
100%. Totally. Well said, guys. Well said. Let us know, guys, in the chat. Which version are you picking up? Is it going to be the standard? Is it going to be the deluxe? Maybe you have the old version. Is it this? Is it that? Is it both? I'd love to hear from you guys, especially on replay or everybody in the chat. But guys, we're pretty much at the end of our show here. I do need to get on the road here in about 10 minutes, so I do have to wrap it up. One last thing that I thought I would highlight, because I did put it in our title card, was NECA's giving us a life-size baby Beetlejuice. Some of our panelists have not seen this. No, some of our panelists have not seen this movie yet, so let's not give any spoilers in the chat. But I will say, this character was one of my least favorite parts from the new movie. I really didn't love it. I would never buy this, but good on you, NECA, for trying. It's terrifying. I don't know why anybody would want to put this in your collection. But also let us know if you saw this and you were like, oh yeah, I am 100% going to get a baby Beetlejuice in the collection.
Got to get that baby juice.
I'm baby juice, knowing that it's life size.
Yeah.
Just frightening.
That's creepy.
Yeah, this is for NECA.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Bingo.
Hey, you put this guy next to their life-size Chucky, and you got the life-size Megan doll. Boom, baby. Look at that.
It's true.
Put him next to Grogu.
And from NECA of all places too. Like that was the one thing that stood out to me, was like, really, NECA? Okay, fair enough. I love my NECA Ninja Turtles though. It'll probably be done pretty well. I'm sure it'll be a quality release. He's got better hair. He's got better hair than the Sideshow Beetlejuice has. So, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild. And I wanted to share that with you guys. For some housekeeping, you guys are here on the Ben Thomas Show already. Some of you are Tough Nut channel members. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, I will put the link in the comments right now for you. These are some of the membership emojis that you get. If you're here with us getting nuts, you can smash the nut button. You can, nut buster all over the place. There's Adventure Time nut, Turtle nuts, Ghost Buster nuts, all of the things, as well as custom membership badges, which I did not put in the slide here. So I'll show you guys the custom membership badges at the end. But what I would say is any support is welcome. So whether you guys are just a subscriber, just watching, or if you want to become a Tough Nut member, it's always appreciated. We will be doing a channel membership here giveaway very, very soon. So stay tuned on some of the upcoming nuts. Definitely appreciate that. And I meant to say upcoming live streams, but nuts fits. Guys, in order to shout out our Tough Nut crew, we got Elvin J, Collecting Weekly, Money Mendez, Six Scale Mafia, Katera, Feezy's Figures, King Ding, Yingling, Sith Scale Collector, Paul Schreiber, The Batman, The Movie Canon, 1 6-Figure Focus, SpongeBob Square Balls. We love you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. Rogue One Photography, Peter Cass, Ryan Smith, Collector Joey, Sam Gist, Jose G. Hernandez, 12-Inch Moose Dream, Collection Obsession, Blur Dad Life, Mr. Inc., Rachel Miller, Honest Hansel, Action in the Box, Figurecraft, Neilerific, Action Figure Academy, X-Men Supreme, Don Maton, Kenneth Jacobson, Valkyrie Magnus, Adrian Cervantes, Alex Serrato, Christopher Balzano, Pop Culture Relics, One Adam 12, Evil Sneaker, Trevor Weed, and Big Rib, as Dean would say. Guys, thank you so much for being channel members. We definitely appreciate you here, as well as everybody watching live in the chat. I have a show because of my panelists and because of all the great community. X-Men Supreme, it was your first time on Let's Get Nuts, buddy. Did you have fun? And is there anything coming up for you today or this week that we can find you at and look forward to?
I very much enjoyed my time here. Thank you for having me, sir. I will be in just a couple of hours on with Geo for the Canon Council. We'll be doing that.
Nice.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, man. Just chilling and growing.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, you're welcome to come back anytime you want. What I'll do is both you and Ty, I'll add you to our Let's Get Nuts show sheet chat every single week. I just kind of throw the bat signal out there and say, hey, who can join? Anytime you guys can join, you're certainly welcome to do so. Just let me know and we will pencil you guys in, okay? But dude, Dave, once again, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I appreciate you. Mike, of course, you got your mic situation sorted out, which is great. Hopefully your team is winning. If it doesn't have ice and a puck, I don't even consider it a sport. But I still support you either way. Is there anything coming up for you, buddy, that we can look forward to?
No, man, nothing for me. As you know, just happy to help out and jump in any of these chats anytime somebody wants some company. Headed out of town, a little vacation here in a couple of days, so I'll be watching you next week from the beach. So enjoy the show. X-Man, Uncommon, pleasure to share the screen with you guys. Sorry I was a little late, but yeah, you guys are awesome.
Great show, dude, and thank you so much for being here. Be safe on your vacation. Don't get too nuts out there in the real world, okay?
Can't promise
just
that.
be careful. Yeah, well, at least here you're controlled, okay? It's in a controlled environment here, okay? Out in the real world, hard to say. We got Brother Cousin's Toy Reviews here with us. Jay, buddy, hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you all for all your great content, your patience. Keep positive. I know things have been hard lately, and I can see it in your face when you're streaming a little bit, but, there's lots of people that love you and support you, and we want to see that content continuing. And Jay's, I think he's almost at 10K, I think I want to say, somewhere in that range. So stay tuned, because I think he said he's going to have a figure giveaway at some point as well, which is very, very exciting. Jay, we got to get you on Let's Get Nuts at some point too, buddy. We got to figure out a way to cross the streams and hit each other up. So stay tuned for that. But we also have Evil Sneaker here, of course, using his 2-month membership. Nut emoji, thank you for that, buddy. Also, Sneak Peek is tonight. I don't know if that crosses the streams with Geo's Movie Canon, so I don't know who to tell which one to go to, but honestly, just watch for one on replay if you watch one live, or vice versa. Support these guys, support our community. It's definitely very helpful. And in terms of supporting the community, Ty, Uncommon Flex, thank you for collecting. What's going on for you, buddy, that we can look forward to this week?
Basically, we should have another show. This will be episode 11 this Friday, 8 Eastern. Hopefully, anyone can pop in, say hi if you can, or catch a replay. Thank you for having me on here for the first time. I got to share the mic with X-Men Supreme and Mike, who again, pleasant surprise. We've been chatting and doing some 3D printing and everything like that. So that's all fantastic. And I'm taking your advice. I'm gonna try some short form content and see how that works. So
don't tell them it's my advice. People are gonna be
it's
that Ben guy.
Feed the algorithm.
I hate to see it.
If you don't like it, blame Ben, not me. Okay?
That's right. I see how it is. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Gio, the Movie Canon with his membership chat as well says, 9 months, buddy. Thank you for your support, man, for so long. Ben Thomas Show, good to see you, buddy. Thank you so much for being here. And Mike, dude, Ty, Dave, you guys are the bomb. I could not have a show without you guys. So thank you so much for being here. Everybody is using their membership of the month chat. Member for 8 months here, Jose G. Hernandez. Jose, I heard you're on another stream tonight, but you weren't. You were too busy to be here. So I see how it is. I didn't take it like a knife in the chest. Don't worry about it. But he says, using this since you don't say hi to me. I don't say hi to him. What a guy.
You see him on just about every other show, man.
I know. What a guy. That's fine. I don't take it personally. I'm just kidding. And Brother Cousin says, appreciate it, bro. Let's do it. 100%, buddy. We will for sure. Guys, all of that being said, of course, like I said earlier, you are on the Ben Thomas Show. We got nuts today. If you are finding the show for the very first time, please make sure you hit the subscribe button at the very least. It definitely helps. If you can hit the like button on your way out the door today, I will certainly appreciate it. I got to get my ass on the highway. So guys, with all of that said, Mike, I think it's safe to say we got nuts. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good. Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.